Don't think about because you're wearing contour. Because I'll wipe your brows off, snatch your wigs and your nails off. All right. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod. Joining me as always, my co-host,
Karen.
And we're live on a Saturday afternoon, ready to do some podcasting. You know where to find us.
Yes.
Everywhere you find podcasts. The official weapon of the show is
folding chair.
And the unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
And bullet ball extreme. And today is a feedback show. So that's us talking about all the stuff that you had to say about what we had to say. It's a real, kind of symbiotic relationship at this point. Sometimes I'm sure the things we said throughout the week got on your nerves. Sometimes the things y'all say back does get on our nerves. But it's all family and we all come together and hug it out. My mouse.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I hit the button on my mouse. I got a new mouse anyway. But I'm back. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the show with the feedback. I think the first place to start is always with the people who said, you know what, I like what y'all doing.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate what y'all doing. Do I want more of this? Maybe not. I'm not signing up for premium necessarily, but I want to just put something on it. So I went to the blackout.com. I looked on the right hand side. I seen where it said, yo, you can support the show in a monthly donation, a one-time donation, any amount. It don't matter. I heard I get a shout out if you do that. And you know what? You heard right.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlotte's Own, Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tie to the Black Guy Who Tips.
New reparations, new salutations. Michael W. with the recurring donation. Mako H. Marvin B. Yes, Marvin B. Nicole F. J. Full. Early days of photography. A. The first comment is from
Apia.
Correct.
Yay!
I was affected by the worldwide technology blackout. I wanted to buy milk and bananas in our closest supermarket in the morning and no register work. I was sad, but I found a solution. Rona Raphael says, what was the solution? Trade by barter. I'm curious. She said, I went to another store that's slightly further away. Okay. So not too inconvenience. Listen, I thought I would have did some sexual favors. Okay. Sometimes I need my groceries. Okay. I need milk and bananas and whatever I got to do, something strange for a little bit of potassium. I'll do it. I need that whole D vitamin milk.
the whole vitamin D, apparently.
So I'm gonna have to get the whole D today. Rona Raphael says, I missed the alerts about the worldwide shutdown and only read about it. When I finally sat down to operate my laptop, I was like, got to take my alert seriously. What the fuck if it was aliens coming? Then again, I don't live close to main attractions they be liking, so I'm good. At first, well, that's what Hollywood thinks the aliens do. Like, you gotta think about that. We don't know that the aliens really hitting New York and DC. I don't even know if they give a fuck about that shit.
They might go to a fucking cornfield. That way they can get themselves together before they get found out.
Yeah, what if you fucking with them aliens that be making the circles in the crops and that be abducting random white people and probing their butts? You don't know.
You never know.
At first, when I saw the notification on my phone and read half of it, I was wondering what did the CEO of the streaming app that Rod and Karen used to broadcast do. Surely glad it wasn't that app. Yo, this is a total tangent that I just got on in my brain, but what the fuck happened to people being abducted by aliens? Like, once we got fucking phones in our pockets that track us and you can take like video evidence of everything that happens to you, the abducted by aliens industry is done. The industrial complex, that shit used to be like every National Enquirer on the headline, man abducted by aliens. Man says aliens are bright lights. Now, look, was it probably people having mental health issues in the middle of nowhere and then just saying it's aliens? Maybe. hoaxes, liars, possibly. But I'm just saying, now that we got TikTok, ain't nobody tried to be like, oh shit, I'm getting abducted by an alien and make a fake TikTok getting abducted, or God forbid, if they really got abducted, pull out the phone, give us some proof. We'd love to know. It's just kind of weird that brand of person just faded away in the oblivion.
Oh, if they're there, they way off in the bottom of the Reddit threads.
Yeah, maybe we don't care. Maybe we got so much happening now. We just like, if you like, I got abducted by aliens, like, nigga, Donald Trump just said we will never vote again if he wins. So
you be like,
we just not on that right now.
You go, that's a luxury when everything is good in the world. We can start going with you. Right now, we don't even got time to head down that road.
Yeah, the government just the government just had the president step down and Kamala's running. We on some other shit right now. They put out the alien footage of UFOs. So, okay, you got abducted. I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm happy that happened to you. Whatever, too long, didn't read.
Ain't that the truth?
EV says, there's no need to apologize, Rod, because I did initially believe the shooting was staged because Dump is a stunt queen. But as more information came out and I saw that people actually died, I changed my mind. I still don't think he was shot and got cut by some glass and is playing that shit up. He has his cult followers wearing giant bandages on their ears at scary times. Yeah, well, the reason I had to apologize, for me, and I appreciate you saying that, but I had to apologize because I think in the immediacy of it, I'm not judging anyone's reaction. Because when it immediately happened, if you thought it was fake, what can I say? The motherfucker does a lot of lying and stunts.
Yes,
so
he gaslights people.
Yeah, I can't put anything by anybody at first, and then I apologize because then I wasn't thinking about the timing of the comments. It was like, oh, this is a comment from on the show from last Saturday, of course. But I'm with you. It's I can't put nothing really past the guy, but I also just don't think he's a genius mastermind.
I don't think he's that smart.
Yeah, so many people seem to think he's like this Machiavellian guy, and I don't think he is. And so there's just many times where I kind of deviate from the crowd because I think what will make the crowd, because we all got confirmation bias, and a lot of us think he's like a very real existential threat to the country and the world. But what happens is that a lot of people think it is worse if he's like this Machiavellian schemer. And I think it's worse that he's a fucking shark that never stops swimming or thinking a bite in front of his face. And the fact that we let a person like that be anywhere close to power in this country is the fulfillment of every nightmare that people have had about, America for, its existence.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Comments on the tube on episode 2943. What about her female? Let's see. We got 5 comments. Let me sort it. All right. So Jay Harris says, not to be confused with Jay Harris. Jay Harris says, watching you fact check that YouTube comment made by, I think it was Ebbs, was crazy. You put the finger up like the door of church was open and you had to go to the bathroom, LOL. Ebbs reply says, hi, my name is Ebony. There was nothing to fact check. I said that I had suspicions, not doing as many interviews, only being able to perform well in front of a teleprompter, not being quick on his feet at high pressure moments regarding the mental acuity piece. Not that I saw a medical report saying such. Well, it wasn't, I hate to nitpick, but it wasn't that you said you had suspicions that he slowed down. You said it was like a cover up. I don't want to put my finger in the air and go back to the original comment. I really would like to leave it where it is. You keep commenting. I will always, try to be respectful and comment back. Not that I saw a medical research report saying so. I also asked why he was seeking re-election. My interpretation of a transactional president was indeed one term. My opinion, my interpretation. I never represented either of these things to be facts. Sure. I don't care anymore.
Don't care.
Sandy D says, like you need that, you got it. That's what you feel you were saying, then that's what you were saying.
Yep, it's all yours, baby.
Sandy D says, if this don't work out, George Clooney catching all of the face, sincerely a tired black woman, Gen Xer from fucking Texas. I'm trying to hold on, man. Damn. That was 5 days ago. Iman says, not me coming over to YouTube because my Crowdcast wasn't working and the show wasn't showing up on my app, only to learn Skype was trying to play me too. Oh my god, I would never do that. to y'all or myself. Skype lying on me like that. Technology really failed me this weekend. Oh, mine left though. Because it said she left like 28 voicemails, and it was crazy.
Yeah,
and it was all the same one. I don't know why Skype did that. It's never done it before. It hasn't done it since.
Yeah, and
it's very weird.
I was like, yeah, something got to be wrong, because I was like, if mine calls too much for it to be 29 calls.
Alexandria says, I identify with Karen's love with being an old black woman. Yeah.
Yay!
Karen's wanted to be old since she still wants to be old.
I do not know, and I kind of think it's how I was raised. I was raised by older women. Like my aunt that raised me, when she got me, she was already in her 40s.
Right.
So she was already an older person. So all my life, everybody has been like quadruple, 4 or 5 times my age. And so all my life, I've been around these really, really old ladies with these, and old people with these really, really old sayings and stuff. And it kind of, you're a child, you pick that shit up. So, as a kid growing up, it was some things I just didn't do, because just listening to them, and I listened a lot as a child. I was the only child. So, kind of old school. Children were meant to be seen and not heard. So I listened a lot. And so, all the phrases and sayings, I was, they would be talking about things around me that was adult content, but, nothing sexual, but, like things happening in adult life. And I would be listening. I was thinking, I don't want to do that, or that don't sound good, or the way you talking, it don't sound positive. Not really understanding, but knowing that wasn't good. So as I got older, people would do things. I was like, I kind of heard about that. I'm going, you go right, I go left type of thing. And so most of my life has been their old phrases and old catchings and things like that. That's probably why, I want to be old. And it's one of the things where you still got to live and learn to go through the process. But, just when you're a child, you want to be like the people around you. And that's kind of what it is, and just kind of sunk into my spirit.
The poll was, were you affected by the worldwide technology blackout? 28% yes, 72% no. So actually lower than I would have thought. Maybe I wasn't really affected by it in any way that I could tell. So yeah, I guess if you was in a plane or something, you couldn't avoid it, but yeah. The next episode is 2944, Kamala Harris 2024. We have 23 comments on this episode.
Y'all had a lot to say.
23. Ann says, I knew y'all would be on top of this. Also, have y'all ever heard of Hart's Chicken Restaurant? They have several places in Houston, have been around for over 40 years. They never have a crowd. I don't know why they haven't closed. I think they're the chicken equivalent of Arby's. Maybe Arby's own them. They be owning a lot of these companies on the low.
Yeah, like company, like regional shit that we might not know, but it might be local in your area, and they'll just buy them up. You just don't know.
It's also wild in the days of the internet that I have never heard of Hart's Chicken. It's like everybody got a place that they go up for. We don't have a Cane's or Raising Cane's in North Carolina,
but I've
heard of it.
I heard of Publix before it came down.
Yeah,
here,
it's so weird.
Wawa's,
I've never heard of Hart's.
Mm-mm.
Let's see. Classic R&B Lover says, hello, Rod and Karen. I'm one of the people that was down. I did not feel this way because of Kamala. I felt this way because of the disgraceful way President Biden has been treated by those people with a clear anti-democratic agenda. I'm looking at you, mainstream media, which is now wholly owned by the oligarchs of the world, and social media outlets such as Twitter, which I will never refer to as X. However, that down feeling has transformed into an outright righteous anger on behalf of and in support of Kamala Harris. My feeling is that I am riding with Kamala, even if it means I have to do the Flintstones car drive with my feet on the pavement. I already see the attacks against VP Harris, and all I have to say is, fuck you. Your ass is blocked, and I'm going to keep riding with Kamala. Yeah, I just ban those people from talking on our Facebook, on our YouTube page, because I'm not doing it.
I understand. I'm not engaging.
I understand a lot of different angles of handling that kind of stuff. There's the grandstanding, the virtue signaling, the rage bait type things where we're like, I yell at them, they yell at us, and I don't respect those opinions. I don't think those people are going to progress the country. I don't think they have the best interest of Black people in mind when they level those accusations about her. And I'm not just talking about the stuff that's like her criminal justice record or something. I mean stuff like she's not black. She hates black men specifically. I don't do that. And I've just been very disillusioned with that type of black man for a long time. And I don't like it when they do it with like ESPN hosts that are black women that have married to or date a white man, and then they start saying how they hate black men or something.
Right.
I find that type of victim mentality to be very weak.
Right.
And I find the brothers that give into that to be the same as the incels and the Kevin Samuels lovers and all that type of like black man victimhood mentality shit. I don't really like that type of mentality in pretty much anyone, but to me it really reeks of like envy of the white male victimhood complex that weaponizes that victimhood into dominance over the rest of us. And it's a non-starter for me. So you can save all the Kamala's not black. What about tangibles? Save that shit for someone else's podcast. I'm so motivated that I just donated to Kamala's campaign, and I've never given to a campaign before. I plan on giving again when VP Harris is officially named the party nominee. My commute to and from work is long, but if I can find a way to help the Harris campaign through phone drives, which I know the UFT, my union, will be doing, I will. I can get home late. I can be tired. I can be run down because I understand the existential threat Rump and his cronies pose to this country, this world, and everything that matters to me as a black woman. To quote Deadpool and Wolverine, let's fucking go.
Right.
I came back, she replied again. I came back to include that I will be watching the DNC every night, which is something I never do. I usually tune in to the big night, but I want to see all the people fall in line because I will not contribute to another candidate. I will not make calls on behalf of another candidate, especially not that fuck nut Joe Manchin, Harris 2024. Trey says, amen, facts, cosign. Yeah, I mean, when we were talking about this was when a lot was still up in the air. And I won't say this isn't a I was right type of thing as far as like I was right in that how this would go, because honestly I was very nervous about how this would go. And I was very nervous they would try to skip over her. People would start attacking her from within the party. The same news media that said Joe Biden was a bad candidate will start calling her a bad candidate, and they did try some of that. I saw New York Times, like it was funny. People were like, Joe Biden needs to step out. It's time for Kamala. And then like, as soon as she stepped in, why Kamala is not the right person for this moment. And you're like, okay. But those people aside, that was actually a very small sentiment.
And I appreciate the populace as a total. A lot of Democratic people. I appreciate people actually taking it seriously and just not letting them be loud. A lot of people just was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I appreciate, you just don't understand how much I appreciate people looking at them and like, if you don't get the whole entire fuck out of here with that bullshit, I'm not playing with you and we're not going through this.
I was only ever nervous about what this transition would look like. I was never nervous about her as a candidate, period. I always thought she was the candidate for this moment. I stick to what I said. We do need a prosecutor to lock his ass up. And sadly, in some ways, but also kind of a relief, this is no longer the hive mind mentality of like the pie in the sky social media that was like, we don't even need cops and shit. So that we ended up with this, like, why do we even have a prosecutor? Like, we're not in that moment anymore. People understand the value of like, what those systems should look like if they work and how they end up working for how they end up working for other communities and people are like at other countries and stuff. It's like, because there's no country that has no police. So like,
right,
people are like, how do we figure this thing out? And I think we needed that moment. We kind of needed people to come back to reality, because a lot of the hate for her was more of a like idealistic hate of like, we need to dream of a future where, and like Black Lives Matter put out a statement where they were like, the Democratic convention needs to be an open convention, introducing all these new candidates. They shouldn't just go with Kamala Harris. And the way that everyone went, if y'all don't shut the fuck up,
right?
It was so beautiful. I loved it. I loved it because like a lot of people just do not understand what this moment is. But so far, the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and everyone else, they have proven that they do understand the moment. This is not a moment of game show hijinks. This is not a contest anymore. This isn't a insert candidate here so we can get a good storyline. This is a moment of we need to look organized. We need to look focused. We need to look like we have unity. If you got an issue with Kamala Harris as a candidate and you work within that Democratic Party, use it to help. So if it's something where she ain't talking, she's not good at interviews, motherfucker, get her in the room, figure out how to get her better at interviews. If you don't like her speeches, get her in the room, figure out how to get her better speeches.
Get better writers.
We don't have time to be like, well, what if we just put Gavin Newsom in? We don't have time, and we don't have time for the fallout that results out of that and how people lose momentum off of that. So this has been an amazing feeling. The only thing I was nervous about was how this would look, and it has gone much better than I could have ever anticipated. Everyone fell in line, and God, this is a good feeling right now. Kristen says the frustration with Biden stepping down is that after fighting through all the genocide Joe propaganda, Chevron, and the immunity case at the Supreme Court finally got everyone on board behind Joe, and then the people all came to a consensus to vote for this old man because the only way to preserve democracy, the millionaire donors threw their weight around and once again disenfranchised us. Yeah, I was listening to one of my favorite shows on the media, and they had Ezra Klein on there today, and they interviewed him. And Ezra Klein is a person people have given a lot of credit or blame, depending on how you feel, for Joe Biden stepping down, because Ezra Klein was extremely obsessed with it. He has one of the most popular liberal podcasts, and he's like, he got to step down. He got to step down. He got to step down. He got like just multiple episodes. Sometimes dude would do like an episode once in a week, once every 2 weeks. And this time there was like 4 or 5 episodes in a week. Like he got to step down, and he had been on this since February, but obviously the State of the Union kind of shut him up a little bit. It shut everybody up there. It was like, he can't do it. And then the debate obviously brought it back full strength. But one of the things I thought was interesting, because no one wants to say they were holding a knife, even as this moment is exciting for people that are Democrats and see Kamala Harris's candidacy as something energizing. No one wants to claim credit or blame, because they, for the most part, understand Joe Biden did a good job as a president and that he's a good man. So they don't want to say like, yeah, it was me. I say, get the fuck out of here, Pops, or whatever, right? But he said something to the effect of like, well, this is what the voters wanted. Is people say it was the elites. People say, and elites can mean multiple things, but his thing is like, it wasn't just like the media had to talk about this because he had that debate. And I agree. The media did have to talk about it. That would have been insane for anyone who watched that debate and came out and said nothing to talk about.
Agreed.
It was the number one story. I absolutely agree. There is a difference between that and consistently hounding him out of the office.
Yes, that's the problem.
Multiple times there was, hey, I'm staying in. Multiple interviews that were better than it didn't matter. Every little mistake became like, this isn't just a gaffe anymore. He's senile or whatever. And to say that wasn't a thing felt like a weird level of gaslighting from media people. The New York Times put out 4 or 5 op-eds within like 72 hours, every last one saying step out of the race. It was an effort. Now, what happens is, what do you define as an elite? Because when millionaire donors are saying, I will not donate to the campaign, that is the few saying we are speaking over the many who did vote for Joe Biden. And there's no mechanism to truly say, hey guys, let's go back and see if you still want Joe Biden. Because at that point, the primary time is over and all that stuff. So it felt like people, the media people want to be like, we just did the bidding of the voters. And I'm like, but did you? Because it felt more like you did the bidding of a bunch of rich, millionaire, famous people who decided this dude was out, and they were the ones that really had the power to push them, to make them step down.
And my thing is this: you do not represent the many, because the many did not get a say so in this. So how are you representing the many? Right. Not trying to be funny. It's like you're taking your voice because you don't have the billions of dollars to affect the campaign and saying my voice represents the many. It does not, because I didn't agree with it. I didn't get a say so, and I didn't get a motherfucking vote.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah, it's just like it was I just been, this is what voters have been saying. This is what I've been hearing privately and stuff. And it's like, I'm not saying that's not your experience, but it was what's interesting is that to me, this was an undemocratic takedown of this man. That's fine. It happened. I'm not upset about that part, but it almost seems like the upsetting part for them is that it didn't lead to this chaotic TV ratings, get the clicks type. It led to like, it led, and shout out to Joe Biden on his way out the door. He basically said, this is the move. We are organizing behind Kamala, and anyone that gets in the way of that is going to get ran the fuck over, because everyone's going to see what I'm saying, what my allies are saying. And no, there's not going to be time for people to come in and shit on her. So I think, in that way, there's almost like a disappointment from the media class. And I mean, I don't think AOC's crazy. She was in those rooms, and AOC said flat out, if y'all think they're trying to get Joe Biden to step down to get Kamala to step up, you're wrong. The people that are behind this pressure don't want her either. And so I think Joe Biden kind of outfoxed them when he was like, yeah, it's going to be her. So y'all need to take all your vast resources and get in line, or you're going to look like you're trying to usurp this black woman who is next in line. Mm-hmm. And y'all know our party can't tolerate that. Mm-mm. And I know a lot of people think that that the party can. That is a losing ticket. Mm-hmm. If you think Joe Biden was going to lose, a skip over Kamala Harris Democrat, name any person you want, was going to lose for sure.
It don't matter who it was,
in my opinion.
Yeah, and I agree. It wouldn't have mattered who it was. It literally could have been another black woman, and people would have been like, "Fuck you, you're not Kamala."
It wouldn't have mattered. It's just, it was her turn. This is the way we've been doing it. Mm-hmm. You can't. There's no way to avoid it now.
Right.
I'm excited about the prospect of Kamala presidency. I think she's amazing, exactly what we need. But I feel the frustration is that all these decisions are being made in spite, and seeing the people back in Joe. The people's comments and responses to all the news and media complaints have been a major backlash to them pushing out Joe. Well, I'm thinking it was definitely a racial divide. Black people were definitely backing Joe Biden. But as you can see, black people are backing Kamala Harris. So it's not like I really just think a lot of the worry was just she was going to be skipped over. That's it. It's like, if y'all push out Joe, that means y'all don't want Kamala. And that's what I thought they were going to try to do. And I think she's more than cleared the bar to show like, oh wait, she's going to be a problem for the Republicans. And she's a good candidate. On a hopeful note, I like to think that Joe wanted to drop out months ago, but knew the powers that would try to oust Kamala, so he held on till it was too late for any other option. Kamala is the only candidate who could access Joe's campaign money and was on all the state ballots before the deadline, so everyone needs to be loud with their chest to support Kamala, period. And stop pretending that there's any other viable options that can beat the court cases as well. We cannot have a repeat of Bush Gore, and we cannot fail and have another 2016. Let's go, Kamala. Yeah, I think the most surprising thing has been just how many people were relying on Joe Biden to be kind of too prideful to step down. Mm-hmm. Because Republicans were not ready for this. They have nothing. I'm sure they'll have something eventually.
Yeah, they don't know how to respond, so they went to their old book, which is racism and sexism. Yeah, they just literally had nothing else to fight on.
They really have not. They did not see this coming. Even the thing I was worried about was them filing 50 lawsuits or however many lawsuits in all the swing states and trying to get to a Trump judge to take off the ballot. That did not. It's been a week. It hasn't happened. And they were like, we are ready to sue. We are lining up to find these judges and lawyers to take. And I mean, they probably would get thrown out because he did it early enough that they haven't had their DNC yet. So once the delegates select her, and then it's like it's basically like a done deal. But wow, I didn't see that coming. I was very nervous that they were going to try to tie this up in court. And maybe they still are, but that clearly seemed like a bluff because they were not ready to go. They just didn't think he would do this.
No.
And I think also
because they know it was the other way around, Trump would not.
Right. And also for the Democrats that really wanted to force him out, a lot of them didn't think he'd do it either. You can tell. No. Because they were caught flat-footed when he did it and then said it's going to be Kamala because they didn't have no choice. They were like, oh, shit, okay, I guess it's Kamala. Cause like, what the fuck else y'all gonna do? You got what you wanted, and now you got to deal with what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Abia says, I agree. The only chance to win is everyone to support Kamala. Otherwise, shut up. Abia also says, even if I think Biden was unfairly treated, I feel excited for Kamala. I hope there will be no further candidates. I really hope that we are at the feedback show. When we are at the feedback show, there will be nothing else to report. No other suggestions. It's the first woman of color who is running, and I hope she wins. Edit on Friday. I'm glad that all the Democrats read my comment here. Listen to me. Good job. I can't remember a time where I felt so hopeful for the U.S. Do you think the Democrats themselves are surprised how well this worked out? Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this was not planned.
It's going to be interesting, man, because if she wins, these motherfuckers owe Joe Biden an apology. And I don't mean that in some like they owe him he should have ran and all that. I mean, they owe him an apology in that they were like, he just picked that VP because you need black women as a vote and all this shit and all that stuff, and they just hid her and all this stuff. Honestly, it made her so much harder to run against, that she hasn't been acting like she's been out there, she's been talking, she's been doing things, but the fact that people thought of her as an afterthought, that the only thing they have on her is like, well, she just a DEI hire, which just makes you sound racist.
Yes.
I don't know. It's a masterstroke because they just the lack of anything. And I said Trump would be afraid to debate her, and he tried to pretend that he would for 2 or 3 days, and now he's ducking the fucking debate because I said he would.
Yes, I was like, he's not going to debate. No, he's not going to be on the stage with that woman. He's
tired of sitting across the stage from prosecutors. He don't need to be in that room. He can't sleep through this shit. You know, Rona Raphael says, thank you, Rod and Cameron, this episode. I was really pissed when the news broke, but almost immediately I saw my man Joe Biden endorsement of Kamala Harris. I was like, all right, we in the end game now. I wait for the best podcast in the world to say what I can't articulate yet. Thank you. I appreciate you all. Karen, extra hugs and kisses to you. Yes, George Clooney best come give a speech endorsing Kamala Harris. Rod, I'm still acting mad at you for balls deep after hearing this episode. I know that I wasn't crazy for having the thoughts that I have. It's all about the end game now. I vote blue, but it's best be Kamala Harris. Yeah. It's just so funny, man, because like the day after that debate, I was on several podcasts because I think it came on a day when we weren't doing our show. But I was on several podcasts, and then when we did the pregame behind the paywall, I said it then, and goddamn, man, I was right. I was like, it's fine. It just better be Kamala Harris. I don't want to have the argument with people if they don't feel like Joe Biden should be running. I can't change their minds with how I feel about that. There's no argument I can make to be like, hey, you better change. I can't govern enthusiasm. But I was right when I said, I'm never been attached to a candidate like that. I just don't believe in that. I don't think honestly, I don't feel like most people should believe in that. I think we'd be a lot healthier as a country if people did less of the like stand culture stuff with politics and more like hey, I like their thoughts on the issues. I like their judgment. I like, instead, I get it. It's whatever, but we get into like, I like the way her wig is laid or whatever. It's like, and then people get hurt and their feelings get mad when the person has to go govern.
Right.
But the thing for me is like, I always thought she was a capable candidate. I thought people were way too hard on her in that primary because people forget that the primary became extra petty because so many people were in it. I remember people saying Beto couldn't be president because he cussed. It was just stupid. Like it
did not make, like, it was literally nitpicking, and that's why I say people go, well, how the fuck we end up with Joe Biden? Bitch, it was the populists. Everything was wrong with every other candidate. Everybody had some flaw that you talked yourself out of supporting that candidate. Everybody and everyone, and Joe Biden was doing the same shit that y'all pushed him out. He was doing that shit then, but that shit just rolled off his back like motherfucking water, and we got him. And so now you want to bring all these other people out. I know, bitch, we're not going through this. No.
So I watched that debate, and my thing was like, if he stepped down, fine. It's just got to be Kamala Harris. And I know podcasts I listen to, friends in my text, all this shit. Man, but what about Gretchen Whitmer? What about so-and-so? And I said, it has to be. and I'm adamant about this. You will lose the fucking election if it's not. It's gotta be her. These other motherfuckers, we don't know them. It's 4 months out.
They don't have national names.
They can't get access to the money. It's too much. You be trying to do so much in a short period of time. And yet, if you insert her, it's the wind beneath her wings, because a lot of us understand the urgency of the moment. And because of every negative thing they said about her relationship with Biden in the press, which who knows how much is true, every negative thing is a positive. Oh, he doesn't really have her out here on all his certain things. Good. Because now they don't know what her stance is on the issue. She can distance herself and speak stronger about Gaza than Biden can. Because she ain't been the one making the decision, and she was the first one to be like, we need a ceasefire, because kind of like the way Biden did with marriage equality, right? So when it was under Obama. So anyway, all this stuff to say, like, every negative thing is turned into a positive for her, and they have nothing on her. So this makes me feel such relief, because I was it's even better than my hopes. And I was way more optimistic than most people, of like, yeah, Kamala can do it, just put her in. And it was, what about that one interview? Nigga, are you talking about an interview from fucking 4 years ago? One interview, she's done? This motherfucker be stumbling over words every interview. This motherfucker forgets shit on stage all the time. This cannot continue, that we set the bar so high for her that she's just fucking done because y'all decided, because she's a black woman and it's gonna stick to her forever. Fuck you. We're running, and and now we're in desperate times. Everybody's with the plan. They're like, man, fuck them all interviews. She sound good today. Right. As for Van Jones, that man cries like he trademarked tears. I would call the police on him if I was about to watch a Pixar movie and see him seated next to me. Hell nah, right? You just look at the theaters flooded. Pink Superhero says, always appreciate hearing your thoughts on the topic. DC says, I'm going to support VP Harris. I'm still pissed at the media and the large money donors for shaping who the candidate for president will be, because this is their doing. These large corporate media conglomerates need to be broken up, and campaign finance reform needs to be added to the long list of priorities for VP Harris.
Yes.
Also, it's going to be interesting what these ministers and other groups who don't like women to be in leadership, how they're going to react. We'll see. Yeah, so far it's going over a lot easier than people thought it would go, but who knows? We got a long ways to go, so it's gonna be some shit. So we'll see. But I haven't really seen I can't let a woman be president shit. I feel like in a weird way we kind of got that out of our system with Hillary, because people that was talking that shit like that, like, hey, better not be a woman. A lot of them, and we're talking, of course, about the people that would vote Democrat. Obviously, we're not talking about Republican. Those people who were like, I don't know, a woman, they all thought Hillary was gonna win.
Yes, they did. That's why they came out like that.
So they could be, I'm not with the bullshit. This time, we lived in a world where Hillary didn't win.
Yes, we did.
And I feel like a lot of people, and this is why I always chided these people, and I never will stop. Because I think, honestly, a lot of the credit goes to me and everybody that kept the same energy from 2016. Yes, I've seen all the tweets that say, y'all gonna just keep talking about this Hillary shit forever. Yes. And you're welcome. You should be thanking us. Because the misogyny from our side, not the other side, but the misogyny from our side, it has really decreased. It has decreased a lot on the Democrat side. Because the Hillary shit was crazy.
Yeah, it didn't make no sense. And like I said, yes, I'm gonna be on your motherfucking ass because Hillary should have won.
Yeah.
You thought she was gonna win. That's why y'all came out with all the bullshit. And as long as y'all keep saying, what about her email? I'm gonna keep bringing her up too, bitch. We all gonna continue to talk about her forever.
They don't say what about her emails now. They just go, aren't we tired of this? Well, I'm glad I never stopped, because I really feel like a lot of this set the tenor for what we're going through now, where no one's dealing with your bullshit. Right. Everybody that brings up some little bullshit right now, everyone's on their ass like, shut the fuck up. Bernie Sanders said something last night about she needs to start talking for the working people and blah, blah. Shut the fuck up.
Right.
Everyone collectively like, you're not a thing right now. Leave us alone.
Right. You're not even part of the party. Get the fuck out of here,
This
sir.
is not, we're not doing this. You already endorsed her. The word on the street is he's trying to put pressure on her campaign so he can somehow pick the VP candidate and all this shit. Hey, man.
Get out of here.
Shut the fuck up. That's like, I like that energy. We need that right now for this moment. That if she wins, feel free. That's part of the job. Everyone gonna be back on your ass. But right now, no. We need if you got a serious critique, something that we can do something about,
right,
that can make her a stronger candidate for right, then tell us. But if you got some what do we just open the convention? No, shut the fuck up. Black Lives Matter. I saw people telling Black Lives Matter, shut the fuck up. You're lucky we not asking y'all where the money is. Leave us alone. I love it. And it's all because we kept that same energy. So y'all welcome.
Yeah, because it's life and death, and we ain't got time for y'all bullshit. Like, I don't think they understand that they can't make it about them. And not trying funny, we allowed in the past for them people to come in, make it about them, run the show, start all the fucking chaos. Not trying funny, similar to the media. And honestly, those people in the media, they're disappointed, they're sad that it's unity, and they don't know how to respond to this unity. They like the chaos, they like the discord, they love it. Because when that shit is happening, it keeps the news cycle running. It keeps people retweeting them. It keeps people all up in their mentions. But for the first time ever, people going, you're not that fucking important. We don't have time for your bullshit little ass games. You're not going to gaslight us. We're not falling for the same tricks. I'm glad for a lot of people who fell for that shit going, oh, I fell for that the first time. I'm not falling for that again. I lived through Trump. I remember. And they're going, no, keep that same energy, because those people are going to be relentless and they will come back. Trust, the media will continue to write these fucked up ass articles. They're going to continue to both sides it. They're going to continue to barely talk about Trump. Like, they're going to continue that. So this energy has to keep rolling because they want the chaos.
Well, I'm actually seeing a lot of changes in the media coverage, which is something else I didn't think would happen. But there's a lot more focus on Trump and how problematic his shit is and how it did in disarray his VP choices and some of the inner workings of the Republican Party that just was not getting the same amount of airtime before Kamala Harris became the candidate. So I'm actually very hopeful on both fronts with the media. I think, many are disappointed that they're not going to get Democratic chaos. And you're right, articles will continue to come out, but so far the coverage has been a lot better than it was when Biden was in.
And that part I agree. And this is just me. I think the unity became a non-story. They was like, shit, we gotta talk about something. And I really do think that's why their attention went the other way, because they was like, we gotta talk about something.
Yeah, of course they have a job,
right?
But it's just once Biden was out, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. They really were so obsessed with getting Biden out that this is why I said, as long as it's Kamala, I'm cool, because the Biden stuff did become his own thing.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter. At some point, it doesn't matter how mad you are about it, right or wrong. Once something becomes a thing, it's a fucking thing. What are you going to do about it? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, once he said many times, I'm staying in, and no one was like, the media people were like, we don't give a fuck. New article tomorrow. At some point, it's like, okay, they just didn't expect him to take his ball and go home and say, all right, y'all got it. Mm-hmm. And now they're like, fuck, what do we do? Right. Oh, I know. This guy's talking about there won't be votes again if he wins. Okay, we need to cover that.
Yes, they do.
But I'm sure when he dropped out,
my reaction is angry, sad, and disappointed.
Yeah, they didn't know how to respond.
Shoe Booty says it's upsetting that things are unfolding the way they are because we cannot afford to play fast and loose with this election. The topic again of there being no perfect candidate needs to resonate with some more people because, like y'all said, the infighting will be the death of the election for Dems. I'm afraid of losing all my rights, and rightfully so, because it's laid out in black and white for P205, that Project 2025. Mm-hmm. People say disrespecting Harris because she's a black woman. Stay disrespecting Harris because she's a black woman under the guise of her prosecutorial history. I'm worried. I'm just plain worried. But putting my worrying aside, the moment led itself to one of those really significant conversations with my 9-year-old in the car where I told her President Biden is not running anymore. VP Harris is running, and why that's so important for women, for black women, why it means so much for us personally and nationally. And she got excited, and it gave me that glimmer. Her outrage of, wait, we haven't had a woman president yet, and then let's go Harris. I could be worried and excited and hopeful. Good. Yeah, hold all three. And I think as this thing gets closer, hopefully the hope will win out, because it's hope that's gonna win the election. You know, that's the one thing I have to, you know, admit, you know, is the Biden candidacy was more about resolute, like, reality and just trying to ground people in not just feelings but facts, and being like, but look at what he's done,
right?
Look at what his administration will be going forward. This isn't about one man leading us, it's about the coalition he's built. And it just wasn't resonating. It wasn't making people feel like this. The amount of people that have just registered to vote, the way the polls have flipped, the amount of donations, those are tangible things that happen because of that change. And I can't ignore that. So, you know, and this is all feedback from Sunday, the day it happened, but I'm sure a lot of people now are like, oh my God, yes, this was the right move. Lakita says, K-Dot was hot, laughed my ass off. She mirrored my sentiments exactly. It's upsetting. It's not the same fucking thing goddamn texts and emails were saying. I'll get over it like everything else. I'm still hot about 2016, but I digress. And the way it was done does not give us a chance to celebrate Kamala properly once again. But whatever. Are you fucking happy, Clooney? Because you just lost your spot on my baby daddy list, asshole.
Somebody went down to number 2.
Sean says, fuck the punditocracy disaster baiters for making a blue win more difficult. 2, as someone who supported Kamala in the 2020 primary, I still support her. 3, my feelings are complicated. America's racism and misogyny will make this race more difficult. Not going with an incumbent is statistically a bad bet, and this moves the door open to court cases in a country where the legitimacy of the judiciary can be reasonably questioned due to the deluge of unqualified fucktards foisted on the court by a man who should be in jail rather than the White House. On the other hand, I support Kamala and think she has experience, demeanor, and intelligence to be the greatest president the U.S. has ever had, even though she isn't as liberal and progressive as I would like. So not voting in your polls, as I feel all 3 simultaneously. All right, Sean. I think it's interesting there is that I wonder how you feel about that today, that comment. Like if you still feel that. Because I feel like that's a very valid way to have felt Sunday, but after the Zoom calls and all this stuff, I don't know, man. I think it's okay to feel some hope. Hope is radical too. You know, worry is a thing, anger is a thing, you know, but hope is radical too. Believing we can do better and deserve better is radical too. And I know she's not as progressive as some people would like, but if we're being honest, none of those people that are progressive as we would like have a shot in hell of winning presidency.
No, they do not.
Like it's not even gonna be close.
You have to, because we're not the only people voting. You have a whole populace, and a lot of motherfuckers is like no to a lot of shit. We like hell yeah. They're like hold on.
MDR says, hey Rod and Karen, been a while since I wrote in, but I'm gonna say I love the Joe presidency. My blood sugar lower, my pockets bigger, been wearing less and going out more. I'm absolutely pissed that Biden was pushed out by his own party. It feels like feckless group of cowards really took away our voice, and I hate that. I do think that Joe Biden also pushed so that when he drops out, he would immediately endorse Kamala Harris, because the way the endorsements were pre-written for some of those, he definitely called folks and said, hey, some of those folks might be on some fuck shit. Make sure there's not even a chance it ain't Kamala, and he delivered. Yeah, he understood the moment. It has to be her. I've been watching social media, and I'm so glad folks are energized. I do hope the media who are so worried about age finally ask a question about Trump's age too, because if we want to talk about gaffes, Jesus. Right. I do also love that the endorsements keep rolling in. It's so tightly secure for VP Harris that I would love to know who would put their hat in the ring now. As soon as I saw that Pelosi endorsement, it was over. Yeah, I love that. Was how it needed to be. It needed to make people say, I'm scared to say I want to be president over Kamala Harris. And that's how it worked out. Because right now, you would be fucking your career up. If you put your hat in the ring against Kamala, you're fucking up. If you beat her somehow in a convention, primary, whatever, and you somehow jump over her and become president, the presidential candidate, you're fucking up, because a lot of anger and angst will be there. And then if you lose the general after all that, done. Your career is absolutely done.
You won't even hold dog catcher in your city.
Nobody's gonna want to hear, well, you had to understand what was going on at the time. Every single person gonna be like, it doesn't matter. If it was Gretchen Whitmer, it doesn't matter you lost, and then we can all fan cast Kamala would have won.
Agreed. Even if it wasn't,
it wouldn't have happened.
True statement, it don't matter.
This is the only thing everyone can see. Like, there's a logic to this. It makes sense and it feels good that we can run out there. And if you lose, you just go, fuck, we lost. We thought we had a winner in Kamala Harris. We thought we had a good platform, and now that we just was gonna lose. But if anybody comes in and fucks her over, okay. Sean writes back, puts on linguist hat. K capital A Kamala Harris's name means lotus in Tamil, a Dravidian language common to no, Sean, we're not doing this. Nope. There's 22 comments. You left a comment earlier. We gotta move on.
We sorry, baby. Got too many comments today.
I'm not sorry. Come on, Sean. Evie says, this episode is what I needed to hear. When I first heard the news, I literally screamed, and I said they just handed the election a dump. I was angry like Karen and crying and screaming because some people forgot, but I haven't forgot how bad things were under Dump the first time. If he gets in again, we're all fucked. I doom scroll for the rest of the day. When I finally calmed down, I realized there's nothing I can do but vote, and I had planned to vote blue no matter who anyway, so I'm all in for our VP. At first, I didn't think a black woman could win because the country is racist and they already didn't vote for a white woman, but the only way we lose is to not vote, so I'm going to do all I can to back her and fight with everything in me. I'm with her. Brooklyn Shoebase says, thank you, Rod and Karen. By extension, 3 guys on for this episode. There are 3 things that immediately made me angry when I first heard Joe was stepping down from re-election. 1, the loudmouth minority got their way. 2, Kamala is going to have to suffer from months of racism and misogyny, and to a lesser extent, black women in general. Well, let me tell you about point number 2. That was happening the whole time anyway. No, not. Our girls made us some tough stuff. I'll just put it that way. I'm not saying it don't get to her, but she been in this game for a long fucking time, and low key is what I really like about her demeanor is that she's a very no nonsense, hard edged person.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people hate to see that in a woman, but maybe I'm more elevated and evolved. I don't know.
I love it.
But I love that about her because I ain't never had a problem thinking like, man, how's she gonna deal with all this new attention from these races? She hate them. I hate them. She don't give a fuck about them.
Been dealing about it for decades.
It's just gonna be what it be. But I'm still fitting to try to get this job. 3, there are those who wanted Joe to step down and still not happy with Harris's nomination. I feel like I'm watching toddlers have a tantrum over not getting the cookie and then throwing another tantrum because it's not their favorite cookie. I am also generally angry and frustrated because with the political infight and people are forgetting the big picture. Defeat Trump is Satan. If Satan popped up as a Democratic candidate, I'm taking my chance with Satan because no more Trump at all costs. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, dog, the young people and TikTok and shit is excited for her. So, like, I didn't see that shit coming. But yeah, it's working out so far. Angela says, thank you, Rod and Karen, for an excellent podcast as always. I'm always interested in your takes. Karen, as a fellow Aries, I feel all of that pissed offness of offense and ready to fight feeling that you had. I'm so happy and disappointed with how I'm so sad and disappointed with how they treated President Biden. I'm also happy and so excited about VP Harris, but I still want some get back on those Dem donors and certain party members for how they did Joseph Robinette forever side-eyed. We know those were the same ones who didn't want VP Harris to step up.
Right.
I don't know this for a fact, but my Negro sense tells me that if not for the CBC and President Biden, they would have gotten their way. Yeah, there's so many theories. Someone's going to write a book about it one day. I still won't know who to believe. You know, I love the idea that Obama orchestrated this. That's the one that I've seen that I was like, I could see it, which is him being like, we got to call this on Joe. And it has to be Kamala. And you know, that scripted phone call they have that's like days old of them congratulating her and rooting for her, him and Michelle. And then people going the whole week, you know, President Biden didn't want this. Now, why the fuck wouldn't President Biden want this? Please explain that to me like I'm 5. Because he has no closer relationship with any of these other motherfuckers that y'all think he would go for. So he's just going to stab Joe in the back and be like, fuck Kamala Harris on his way out. I know people want to believe he's just like the worst man in the world and we just all got tricked into thinking he was like a decent guy, but I don't believe that shit. He hasn't really shown this like conniving shit. Like, you might feel bad about some of his stances on things, but there are things he's pretty upfront about having those stances on. Like the shit he said when he was running for president that people just ignored. They liked him so much they just didn't even want to believe when he was like, oh no, I feel this way about things.
Yeah, I'm willing to reach across the aisle, and people was like, whatever, he reached across. I was like, bitch, that's what he said. I don't understand that he said it and he did it, and now you mad. Were you listening?
So there's so many theories. Maybe someone will write a book that we will one day be able to know, but I like the idea that it was him being like, yeah, it's a wrap for Joe, and we just got to go with it has to be Kamala. Because like I said, I'm fine with that. That was a line of thinking I never had a problem with. It was just it can't be Joe. Well, who was gonna be? It can't be Joe. Okay, you're not answering the
question, right?
You need to shut the fuck up because you don't have a plan. They are definitely not like us. Maybe all of the grassroots funding will make their billionaire voices even less relevant. Thank you for both for helping me get the information out there. You are what my mom calls public scholars. I will have on my pink and green on election day, and will be hair flipping and K-Dot stepping to the early voting ballots box. Love you guys. Hugs and kisses, Angela. Thanks, Angela. Trey says, thank you so much, Rod and Karen. I just wanted to continue the chorus of people so grateful and thankful y'all did this episode. I literally started hyperventilating when I saw Joe's post about stepping down. It was a lot for me. I was in the camp of people who said Joe should stay in, but of course I was always in for Kamala. I hate her. I hate that her campaign ran out of money before I could vote for her in my primary down here in Alabama in 2020.
Yeah, by the time it came down here, I don't even remember. I don't even think she was on the ballot in North Carolina.
She was, but I think her campaign was suspended.
Okay,
she was on the ballot though.
Right, yeah, but she had like just dropped out like right before. So for a lot of people, they didn't even get a chance to even vote for her because it was just impossible.
Yeah, I voted for Warren because of that. Warren got my primary vote that day, and Joe got it in the general. Just FYI, as a black voter, I was worried about a demographic of voters I shouldn't worry about, aka white voters. Also, I would never take my foot off the neck of 2016 non-voters or third-party voters. They screwed us all with that bullshit. I realize now I can only control what I can control. The rest is up to the next person. I will say how I love seeing white people call out other white people this election cycle. It makes a huge difference. Man, listen, not white people, white women. Let's just say it.
Be specific.
They needed to have a conversation amongst themselves with themselves.
Right.
The rest of us understood the motherfucking assignment. They fucked off 2016 and then fucked it off worse in 2020, and we won despite them. Now they can't get abortions. Oh, here we go with the pumpkin spice motherfucking group meetings. Everybody want to start talking, but you know what? It take that sometimes.
Yeah.
And I like that they talking rough to each other. We need that.
Yeah.
Because when it was 2016, it was like, hold it down.
Yeah.
Because they shut you down when you speak from your heart.
And having private Facebook groups. But now Karen's looking at Karen going, bitch, get it together and I'm the manager. What you gonna do?
Yeah, I love it. This is the energy they need to always have. I don't know what took them so long to get. Well, I know it took them so long, but y'all know what I mean. Like, they need to be on each other's ass. And I'm not doing the shit that I know these other niggas is doing it. Fine if you want to spend your time this way. I personally will not be monitoring their activities. I don't give a fuck. It's on them to save them.
Yes.
Same way it's on all of us. I've never voted to save America. I've never voted to save white women. I've never voted to save. I'll be voting to save myself and the people I care about. That's it. So it's on y'all to do the same thing because y'all motherfucking rights is eroding like a motherfucker too.
Right.
And you think it's bad now. IVF, birth control, it's gonna get worse.
Yeah, they want to get rid of no fault divorces and shit like this. And most of the time, statistically, they've shown since women have had the right to divorce, most divorces are initiated by women. Most divorces are. And so it's one of those things where they start striking that shit down. You're going to have people that's going to have to stay in these marriages, and like your spouse is going to have to sign in order for you to divorce. You just can't leave and shit like this. So, you know, that's the shit that's really going to matter. They're going to force you to have kids, all types of shit. And this is shit that people told you was on the table in 2016, but y'all fucked it off because they thought they was above it and they thought the shit wasn't going to touch them.
Yep. But let's see. It says let them hold each other accountable. Hold a million Zoom calls if you have to, whatever it takes. Kamala 2024. We're not going back. Hashtag riding with Kamala. Anyways, thanks again, Rod and Karen. I appreciate y'all sending much time, sending much love always, Trey. And lastly is Mary. Thank you for this. I did not want to listen to any other podcasts or read anything until I could decompress and process it you all. I was just too heated. Rod, you mentioned that you had seen signs of this because of the tweets you read from Kyle Griffin, a White House insider. I no longer scroll, but I do want to stay informed. I wanted to ask you who else you follow to get your news. You are one of those people for me, but I like to follow a few more. That's interesting for news. Kyle Griffin is a dude that I just know from the top of my head. And then these other people, it's like Ron Flipkowski or something. God, I probably said his name wrong. That dude's good. Then also, honestly, follow the campaign sites for Biden Harris / Kamala Harris now. Like, follow those people because not only are they factual because, you know, they responsibly have to be by law, but they don't just post, they won't doom post.
Yes.
They post inspiring things, but they also post informative things and calls to action things like, hey, this thing is coming up. Make sure that you are aware of it. Spread the word. And that shit is important. When like this is when the candidate is on TV here, and they also spread, you know, because I do want to see these things. They tell me shit like, hey, this is what Trump said about Project 2025 today. I need to see that. So honestly, a lot of that stuff is just, I forget the names off the top of my head because I just see them and either retweet them or share them or to go to the group chat. But yeah, follow those sites, those Twitter accounts. All right, comments on YouTube. They're 33. Oh my God.
People had a lot to say.
All right. Here we go, guys. Oh my God. Y'all owe me a Snickers.
I'll get you one after the show.
I think this is like Kylie LaRon, maybe. Can't believe we're here again. Is this how it's gonna work every 4 years or threaten with a Trump presidency until he dies? Hugh says democracy isn't like a movie where there's a happy ending, you can sleep in peace once any election is over. It's a grind to get even a tiny bit of progress, but it has to be done. The other side is going to give up, neither can you.
Right.
And someone replied, bro, this will be Trump's last time tuning whether he wins or not. Oh man, that's funny but true. Mr. Rob says it's gonna always be like this, and this is why I say I'm not built. I think I'm just not built the same as a lot of people. I can do this forever.
Yes, and you're not trying to be funny. I was kind of trained to do this forever. Like my family was like vote. And it was no, you know, it's not like it was another option. It wasn't like you could piss it off. You know, it's like this shit is important. This shit impacts you. Vote. And you know, like I say, listen to the old people. Old people be like, hey dog, like I had to live through this. Like, you know, I have family members that lived through some of this shit, and they like, hey, get your ass out there and vote. They ain't up for no games. They ain't up for no bullshit. They're very, you know, in reality, and they're not online being influenced by the other shit. They go, no, what are these things? What is impacting me? And these are the things that matters.
There's a reason when Captain America says, I can do this all day, people like cheering in the crowd, you know, in the audience theater. Let's see. Mr. Rob 1317 says she has no path to victory. She's a grip. Oh wait, I don't know. I guess that one slipped through the cracks.
You missed that one. Yeah, go ahead and delete.
I guess before I was deleting trolls, someone said y'all trolls are exhausting. Aren't y'all tired? Tom says Kamala raised about 75 million yesterday. I think people are excited for MP Harris. 85 million now. Yep. My mom said, let's go. We can do it. There's no other option for our democracy. Brittany says, spit that ish, the blackout tips. Black Miss Prime says, I love this. This is why the blackout tips one of not my one if not my favorite podcast of all time. When this all happened, I was like, oh my God, people aren't going to like this. No one's going to vote a woman of color, let alone a woman, period. Now I'm 2,000% behind Kamala. Y'all convinced me. Yeah, man, let's fucking go. Ramsey says, when Rod and Karen speak passionately about politics in America, I get excited. Vanessa says, those who wanted to leapfrog over VP Harris and name a great white hope are no better than the MAGA people. Right. Some Democrats still have fantasy that Republicans are coming over to our side. It's not in them. In the words of Kendrick Lamar, they're not like us.
No, they're not. Stop trying to coerce them over here. They're not coming over here because most people in the party, they fucking hate.
Yes, and not to mention, like, Aaron Sorkin writes a big ass op-ed in New York Times, and his big fucking like idea is that if the Democrats want to win, this before Joe Biden dropped out and endorsed Kamala, if Democrats want to win, they'll go to the DNC and say, hey, America, Mitt Romney, that's our candidate. This is the dream of these people that people think are these like liberal, thought-provoking, like white people. It's like, this is the most milquetoast, and I don't mean it the right spelling with the MILQ. I mean, this shit is like milk and toast. That is exactly what the fuck Mitt Romney represents in America.
Right.
Milk and toast. Don't nobody want that shit.
Right.
Get that basic shit out of here.
Yeah, don't even sprinkle cinnamon on it.
This is your great idea to unify our party? No, you don't know what you're talking about. Now, he did, in all fairness, write an op-ed after she was endorsed and said, I was wrong, I was tripping, it should be Kamala Harris. So he got in line, but still, these are the motherfuckers playing fantasy football with our politics.
All right.
Select One says, I can't stand the ignorant press. Please, anyone but Trump. Sam replied, they want him back so bad. He was so good for their business, had eyes on the news every day. Yep. Robbie says, she's speaking facts. I guess that's about Karen. Forever something. Javskin says, the clips of Kamala Harris at press conferences with world leaders not knowing what to say, a strange word gas, are worse than Joe Biden. Oh, so you got
my bad. Missed you too.
All
yeah.
Right. Let's do a little bit of hide this user from channel.
Housekeeping.
Bye. Comment removed. I bet Trump will not debate Kamala Harris. He's whining already. Also, all he knows is sharks, handball, Hannibal Lecter, and batteries. He has no positive vision for Americans. It's all about Trump lining his pockets. Yep. Mm-hmm. Tiffany says, I ran right to the pod first thing because I knew y'all be on it and I wanted to hear your feedback. I'm glad I'm not alone in my feelings regarding this transition. Bruce Leroy says, Karen, the populists did vote for representatives and senators. It was traitors like Joe Manchin who held stuff up. Joe Biden played too nice, making it so progressive policies never got pushed through. And I said, that is not at all what happened. LOL.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Joe Biden wasn't playing too nice with Joe Manchin. He put pressure on him. He met with him. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, and
he still got shit passed with that motherfucker, and Kristen Sinema still twisted their arms enough to get some shit passed. This shit is not motherfucking the West Wing where you walk in and say a speech to a senator and then they change their fucking vote. Some of these motherfuckers are bought and paid for by the other side, and they not siding with you no matter what. Some of these niggas is ops, and a lot of that is on us as a voting populace to give them more than fucking barely 50, than 48 and 2 possibles, and so make it enough. Go ahead,
Ryan. That was my thing. My statement stands true. It's up, like Ryan says, it's up to the voting populace. If y'all want this shit, if y'all want weed to be illegal, you know what I mean, people to be able to do weed recreational across all 50 states, like if you want these things that everybody claim that they want, you have to make it where it's a supermajority in the House and a supermajority in the Senate. At the federal level, a supermajority in the House and a supermajority in the Senate in your local districts. Like, that's the shit that matters. Like, you have to put, these people that, for your ideas, you need to put them in the school boards, put them on benches and judges when it's time to vote. A lot of this shit falls on the populace. And if we would have had enough shit in there, we wouldn't be looking at Christian Sinema and Joe Manchin. Them not voting wouldn't even fucking matter, because we were like, well, we don't give a fuck. We're going to vote for this anyway. They did that because the voting populace put them in a position where we had to depend on them niggas. Make it so you don't. Make it so no matter what they do, we have such a fucking super majority that it does not matter. So, but it's very frustrating when people make those comments like that and act like act like people don't know what they're talking about. It's a numbers game. It's a fucking numbers game. We shouldn't even have been in a position to depend on him.
Yeah, they still believe in that children shit of like I said, they believe in the Hollywood, like you go tell them you gonna vote this way in a very stern voice, and then they go, oh my God, I'll vote this way, Biden. You didn't have anything on Manchin. Manchin's not even running for re-election. Right. So you can't even be like, well, next time we won't run you. As far as we know, Biden said that. As far as we know, because motherfucking Manchin was like, I'm not running again. So Biden could have been in there playing hardball the way you want, but in public, he does what you're supposed to do as a president. He lied to your ass and says, hey, I just want everybody to come together. We can all work together and get big things done. And da-da-da. That's what you're supposed to say, even if you don't do. So you don't know what was happening back there any more than I do. He might have been in there saying, please, Joe. He might have been there saying, fuck you, Joe. End of the day, don't matter. They still got a lot of shit done, even with these two motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Imani says, commenting on Monday evening, I hope seems to be poking out a little bit. The pundits seem happy to know they'll have good ratings, at least through the convention. Plenty of things to speculate about. Apparently millions of dollars have been raised in 24 hours. Trump is screaming fraud because of the switch. So I don't know, feels better than a few days ago, but then again, things change quickly. I love how we're just like, I'm scared to be optimistic. Aiken says, Karen got me energized, let's go. DXL says, I'm with Karen 100%. I didn't want Joe to step down. It is Kamala a bust. Bystrong says, yo man, I'm not American, but after I heard her speech, I was ready to vote for her. Well, don't though. Be careful. You know, they trying to get people for fraud forever. Riz says, I'm a Californian who voted for Kamala as AG. She was my senator. Anyone who cares to look at her record would know she's always been an advocate for women, children, and the black community. She decriminalized victims of child sex trafficking, convicted pedophiles, predators, and advocated for victims of domestic violence, penalized counties for sending children to penitentiaries. California is far from perfect, but she was and is very progressive, and I'm tired of people shitting all over her record and the good that she has done in our community. Yeah, one of the things they use against her is this idea of like, she wasn't progressive when she was a prosecutor. And then they just don't want to take the next step and be like, because there was no such thing as a progressive prosecutor in the years that she was, we hadn't come up with that terminology at the time. If we were to look at her compared to the tactics other prosecutors were using at that time and other attorney generals were using at the time, she was more progressive than the vast majority. But because we hadn't come up with that phrase and this new litmus test of these ideas that many failed, are we going to ever talk about that? Like no one wants to have that discussion about how we are, what now? See, that was 2016. So we are like 8 years from we decriminalizing everything. Nobody goes to jail, no bail, like on don't hold people for bail, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of those things have not worked as people thought they would. I won't say they failed. That's way too harsh. I'll take that back. But they haven't worked as easily as people thought they would. Some of those concepts have not gotten people in the community behind them. Many have they've taken it back. There's people that were like, we getting rid of our police department. They're like, we need a police department.
Right.
So like, I think it took the humility of learning some of those lessons and that everything can exist in the theory of social media to be like, oh, okay, I can see why you would need somebody that goes, a pedophile should go to prison. And our restorative justice, all that hippie shit we talk is not a realistic option when someone is preying on people in your community. And then you go look at her policies and go, oh, she wasn't locking up the sex workers, she was locking up pimps. She was locking up Johns. I do feel differently about that than the way that y'all were telling me she was operating.
Yeah, and also, not trying funny, people that act like these things can't work together. You know, people that act like it's one or the other. But you can have forms of restorative justice while somebody's in jail. Go, you're in jail.
Yeah.
Let's
I understand what you said, but I'm just saying at that time,
yes,
there wasn't no restorative justice shit.
Agreed.
Now I'm sure just like everybody, you do things differently. I'm sure if Obama was president, he'd be like marriage equality right away. But there's a lot of stuff that, oh, this wasn't progressive if you look at it today, it's like, yeah, it wasn't today,
Right.
but it was then. I don't know how to tell you, but that's how time works.
Agreed. And like you say, a lot of the people, that were on it at that time, I think as time goes on, there will be a combination of it. Right now, it doesn't have to be one strong way, one way or the other. They can both work together.
I'm so proud that she is a nominee. I would take my son to stand in line to vote so he can experience what I did when I stood in line with my dad to vote for Obama. And then someone replied to this comment: the reality is her record with black folks is better than Biden's. This is an upgrade for us. RG says, oh no, he's a troll. All right, cool.
Okay.
No need to. We'll just hide that from the channel.
No problems.
Yeah, apparently if I sort by like newest comments, it shows comments I didn't see before.
Oh shit! Now
Gina says,
"Get them out, get them out."
Gina says, at first I was so discombobulated and scared. Now I'm excited and trying to find ways to support Harris's historic race. I think I just needed to process it and let it sink in for a bit, but now I'm all in. Turskine says, as per comment at 1549, this is the Boston Celtics after Ime Udoka. Kevin says, to the media, Trump equals money. Watusi says, President Biden 2024. President Harris 2024. Major Laser says, we were going to lose. Sorry, but Biden was losing nearly all the battleground states. Now Kamala Harris is polling with some of them back.
You don't know that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I don't. Here's the thing I'll say about polls. People only really normally count the bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
If you're counting the good ones and that Kamala is doing better than Biden was, why would I say anything bad about that? I hope that's the case. If you're going to make this change, it should be a change that energizes people and changes people's minds. What I will say is, in those same polls that you said Joe Biden was losing all the battleground states, Kamala was losing them before she was the candidate. Just putting that out there. If we're going to go by the polls, you got to be 100% fair about when you can't pick and choose when they matter. Right. So everyone is surprised right now, with these polls. If those are y'all that believe in polls, I just never did. Only polls I believe in is at the blackouttips.com. Where the poll is, how do you feel about Biden dropping out? Hopeful, pessimistic, or meh? 62% hopeful, 22% pessimistic, and 16% meh. All right. And that was like on Sunday. So we'll see. I mean, they didn't all vote on Sunday, but I bet it got better as the week progressed and more shit happened.
Yeah, I can absolutely positively see that. I think as time has gone on and as the week has gone on, I feel much more optimistic than I did at first. For me, I'm angry, and I will forever be angry how Joe Biden is going to be treated. I know people feel how you want to. I'm going to have smoke in the city. I just am. For a while, like I said, it's probably something I will eventually get over, but that's like a slow flame within me. The way he was pushed out and the way the populace didn't get a say so, the voting populace did not get a say so in this matter. That matters to me personally. But it is what it is, and I completely understand that. I'm an adult. And I understand that you have to move on and you have to look at the reality of what's in front of you. So I am, but it does not mean that I don't have the right to be mad and I don't have the right to be angry about decisions that were made that I didn't have a say so or input in. I was listening to, I want to say the Daily, and they was talking about Kamala Harris's speech that she did, and just listening to her speak and listening to the energy and listen to the positivity, it made me feel really good inside, and I was like, this right here is what is needed. Now I can agree with this is what was needed. The Democrats did need this boost. The Democrats did need a change. I'm not even arguing with you on that part. I just don't like the way that it was done. Okay, I'm gonna have to get over that. But at the same time, I'm happy and I'm very energetic and I'm very positive about the future, and I'm 100% wholeheartedly behind her.
Let's see. I think that was the poll. Okay, yeah, we can go to the next episode. But let me play some music for commercials. All right, the next episode is 2945. Lock him up. We got 14 comments on this one. So we're starting to trend down from our 23 or whatever. Appia says, I'm impressed by the new political development. It almost seems like Joe Biden's master plan to step down at exactly this point in time. It's very cool to see all the support for Kamala, and I feel the energy. Yeah, I think the other reason that I lean towards either Joe or Obama being the one to kind of like steer this thing is the Sunday afternoon announcement of it. It just feels like a thing to catch everyone off guard. It doesn't give the media time to like really be in all hands on deck and like fully sit down and be like, hey, we gotta
yeah because you got your weekend people there. You ain't really got the Monday morning people.
Here's our list of the top people that should replace it. It's like
right.
It's done. You wake up on Monday morning and everyone had the same thought, which is like, wait, is it done? Is that it?
Yeah, that was it, dog.
Did Joe Biden just make us pick Kamala Harris? It's like, yeah, it's too late. That was yesterday.
Yep, that was old news.
Abia says, if sleeping their way to the top was a real option for any woman, shouldn't we see more women of any ethnicity without the right education experience at the top? Most people at the top are still men, and the few women up there are mostly extremely well educated and qualified. We had Frau Merkel up there, who was a doctor in physics, for example. Yeah, that was Angela Merkel was y'all's president or whatever, prime minister or whatever y'all have. What I think is funny about that is in the wording of sleep your way to the top, you are implying that there's some men, right, who have the ability to put you on the top. Like, what are we saying? When we say that, like, you're absolutely saying, like, hey, who would put you on top? The person that is sleeping with you, who is never going to put you over them. So you literally can't ever sleep your way to the top.
Right.
Classic R&B lover says, hello, Rod and Karen. It amazes me how predictable Twitter is. The flip-flopping, line moving, agenda changing is thing to behold. First you have those who were calling Biden a dim-witted, doddering, dementia-laden threat to society, and the Democratic Party as late as Saturday, who are now claiming that while the Republicans were playing checkers, Biden was playing chess all along, because that's how brilliant he is by Monday. Yeah, I saw that. Like, he made them waste their RNC on a candidate that wouldn't even be in a race. He's such a political maverick. I was like, y'all were just saying this man was a bumbling idiot.
Has stickers of him being tied up on the back of bumper stickers.
No, I'm talking about the media people that said,
oh, okay, yes,
like,
yes,
what a move.
Yes.
He was able to catch them off guard. And it's like, y'all said he wasn't capable of this.
Yeah, y'all said he had dementia not too long ago.
This new narrative, which conveniently absolves them of any culpability in the vicious pile-on that resulted in the chaos and the confusion that pushed Biden out of the presidential race, alleges that Biden's plan from the beginning was to perform poorly during the debate, to have the Republicans hyper-focus on him leading up to all their convention and all through their convention, so that when he stepped aside to put Kamala in place, they would have to spend all their time scrambling and pivoting. According to them, if you look at the timeline of things, the clues were there all along, again, conveniently making their actions a helpful part of Biden's master plan. Right. He meant to fuck up that debate. Like, I don't think so. And the Republicans don't really need a lot of help looking like bumbling idiots. These are the people that selected JD Vance of their own volition.
Yes, sure did.
Then you have the usual suspects crawling back out of the bowels of hell. They rested in dog whistling, Kamala's poor work ethic, her past dating history, and she's not really black, etc., followed by the posters who are feigning blackness to slander Harris, and those who are black but who are much for the betterment of black people, as Clarence Thomas, Candace Owens, Tim Scott, and Ben Jones, are spreading outright lies about Harris and her record in California and Washington. What remains to be seen is that the people are still stupid enough to believe the lies this time around. Don't seem like it, but we'll see. Right now, I feel pretty comfortable saying people are mostly like not trying to hear any of this bullshit. Honestly, dog, I think a lot of this is to the credit of the fact that people weren't enthusiastic about Biden. So those people had really resolved themselves to like, I don't need to love a candidate.
Right.
I don't need it to be a perfect candidate. Hell, I don't even need the motherfucker to talk good. That's where we was at. And then boom, here comes a candidate that is better in many facets. And if your thing is, yeah, well, she's not perfect. Unfortunately for y'all, we had already gotten to a point where we were going better than Trump.
Yep.
That's all we needed.
That was the bar for me.
And now you can actually feel good about this better than Trump. So yeah, I don't think people give a fuck about what these folks are saying. Julian 3000 says Rod and Karen are liars. Multiple times this week they have started the show with it's gonna be a short episode. Look at the episode. It's an hour 10 minutes, an hour 30, and damn near 3 hours. The Tippy Hive is thriving. Thank you for lying and waking up Karen. Also, Karen, please continue to slander Crunchyroll whenever you get a chance. They're the worst. You're welcome, Julian.
You're welcome. It is a chat. As long as they app keeps skipping like a 1982 VHS, I sure will.
Ronan Raphael says, I appreciate you guys dropping another episode. I personally believe that another death sentence for the director of the Secret Service was that she's a woman. The GOP is especially the House have a thing for turning up against women appointees. From the little bit I know from security protocols Trump broke that multiple times after the assassination attempt, it's only natural that it be a woman's fault. According to GOP law, another topic that Ezra Klein and his gang could have been proactively talking about, but nope. Finally, I sometimes like to listen to Hollywood Reporter and Variety Actors Directors Roundtable on YouTube. There's a panel from 6 or 7 years ago that included Mahershala Ali, Chadwick Boseman, Timothy Chalamet, Hugh Jackman, Viggo Mortensen, and Hugh E. Grant. They had some insightful talk about acting that what they respect. Rod, you reminded me of that conversation when you talked about Lord of the Rings. I appreciate the best podcast duo in the world. Thanks, fam.
Thank you.
Nicole says, sounds like Michael. Sounds like Michael. Oh, Michael always has to remind me of this, and I'm so sorry. I have the same reaction to these Tesla Cybertrucks. I automatically think the person driving it is a sucker. Their safety stats are astonishingly bad, in addition to their huge price tag and connection to Elon Musk. Yep. Can't help myself. EV says, I will never forgive the media and the Democrats in general for what they did to Joe Biden. I think he's done a good job for the past 4 years, and they acted like he was on his last leg. Yes, he's old, but so is Dump, and Dump is a felon. But Joe played the big joker and pulled out of the race, and I already see the headlines say he's abandoning the country. I knew they was going to say that shit. My favorite one was Republicans saying, so you're going to take out the duly elected president of the United States and replace him with a what do you call it, illegitimate candidate that was not voted on in the primary. And I went, did you just say Joe Biden was duly elected?
Right.
Did you just say that he was duly elected? Because y'all know that's been y'all thing. Y'all been saying that he not.
Right, and he was not a legitimate president.
Right, like,
but they're saying that to make her seem not legitimate.
You see something? Like you see now, you done fucked up. You know that, don't you? I see what I'm saying. I thought. So, you know what I'm saying? You done fucked up now. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
No, you done fucked up, don't you? No, don't you? No, you done fucked up.
Without the tape, they had nothing.
Yeah, you done fucked up. Your whole thing about January 6th and Donald Trump is
it wasn't legitimate.
A stolen election. Now he's the duly elected leader of the country. Huh?
Right.
Huh?
Right.
let's see. This is what they claimed they wanted, but I don't really think this is what they wanted. They wanted headlines, especially love that Dump's campaign can no longer play the dementia joke card. Dump's people will push the narrative that the VP slept their way to the top, but that will probably turn off some of those waffling white women who are on the fence. And the Kamala narrative won't really work either, because they can't claim to be the party of law and order because he's a felon. In other words, they're scrambling, and I love it. For the first time since the news on Sunday, I'm not only feeling hopeful, but optimistic. I don't understand why people still buy Teslas either, especially since they notoriously break down and it gets too cold. When it gets too cold, you can't charge them. Shoe Booty says, no woman sleeps their way to the top. Men withhold raises and career advances in exchange for sexual exploitation.
Yes, they
is
do.
the real way that accusation needs to go. Speak on it. And about ways, I was done when it tried taking me down an old closed road in my own town. Here I thought I was about to find a shortcut. Lord, when I tell you old Stagecoach Road, it is not a road. It is a grown over path through the woods that was literally a damn stagecoach road 100+ years ago. Ways do better.
Wow.
Yeah, but if it was any cops on that road, it would have told you.
Yeah, you'd have spotted them.
Suave says,
It had a nice little pretty icon.
Rob, my ears perked up so fast you mean talk about Lord of the Rings, which in my opinion is the greatest movie ever made of all time. And it's exactly because of the extraordinary lengths of the entire production staff, cast and crew went to making everything so believable despite being the ultimate fantasy IP. It took that film almost a decade to make. Almost every single prop or article of clothing you see on film was made from scratch, not bought from a prop store. Director Peter Jackson's goal from day one was to make Middle Earth a place that actually existed. It is why the Shire, where the Hobbits are from, is in fact actually a real place. It is a bucket list item of mine to visit New Zealand one day. I highly encourage any fan of documentaries and want to know more behind the scenes of the making of the original Lord of the Rings trilogy to seek the appendices, which has hours and hours of details about how this masterpiece of a film was made. It was after watching the appendices is when my appreciation for this film hit an entirely new level. It is truly one of the greatest achievements in cinema and art in general. And then Suave P also said, I think the short tie trend that Karen mentioned, she has been seeing lately is not actually guys that are wearing the necktie short, but wearing neckerchiefs or bandanas that are in vogue nowadays.
That makes sense, because they were so short. I was like, that can't be a tie. What's gonna fucking tie? It literally made no sense. It would be like a choker.
Especially with the rise in temperatures lately, a lot of folks have forgone wearing traditional shirt and tie and are wearing open collar shirts with a bandana tie for a more relaxed and summer casual look. I could be wrong, and there are people actually wearing really short ties, but I venture out to say that's what it is. My name is Suave P after all. Love the show. As always, Suave. Thanks, Suave.
Thank you.
Pamela M8 says, do I judge people who buy Teslas? All Teslas? Yes, I certainly do. I would give allowances for people with older models who may have purchased it before he revealed himself. But after that, no, sir. No, ma'am. You are making a conscious choice. Why would I put my hard-earned dollars for an already expensive car in this motherfucker's pocket? Last I saw, Ford, Toyota, Honda, Nissan, and others also make electric cars that don't lock you inside when the battery dies. Rather do that than deal with the unstable such and such. Yeah. I will say this. All them cars you name probably own slaves, but that was a while ago. I feel like Elon owned the slaves now. It's like, you know what I mean?
At the factory.
Yeah, like I can't help that the Ford family built they money off of whatever the fuck they did, but it's 2024. They doing it different now. Elon, like, I want to bring back slavery today. Miss Barnes says, I was at a traffic light in the next lane when the dude in the Tesla sipping his Starbucks coffee and looking at his phone. I said to myself, that Tesla has a type, and it's this dude next to me. I will freely judge anyone who drives those damn things. And lastly, our girl Iso Rar says, I was never really interested in Tesla until moving to Charlotte and my cousin getting one. The Cybertrucks looked like they were drawn by a toddler, but that Model Y is sexy. I don't know enough about cars. I see when I see the other models of the Tesla, though, I do be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the other models look fine. It's just that the one that looked like it was done on Minecraft.
Yeah.
It's like Minecraft come to life. Like, what is this?
YouTube. My mom says, awesome show. I'm here for Vice President Harris. It's an amazing time to be alive. It's an emotional and thankful moment for me. I got to be part of history voting for Obama and now Harris, along with my children and family. This moment in history to vote for Harris along with my granddaughter. This will be Layla's first time voting for president. Oh my God, what a moment. Vote blue for democracy. Yes.
Mhm.
Now y'all know where I get that energy from. CH says, I agree with Rod from a previous show that none of these people who support Trump, especially at the convention, can't cross back over to Democratic without the smoke. Sexy Red, Amber Rose, and the like can't come back. It will be interesting to see how Stephen A. and Charlamagne pivot. Yeah, I already saw that. When I seen Charlamagne, like, I would endorse Kamala Harris, I said, okay, here we go. We're in the bullshit part, but that's the part you need to win. Is the people that are
everybody on board,
the people that are clout chasers, seeing the wave go the other way and hopping on. You want to be there, because that just means, because those people are just essentially saying it's so fucking. I would be such a pariah to go the opposite way of the wave. I don't want the smoke, and I'm a person that always wants to smoke, and I need that energy. That's how you win. Even J.D. Vance's wife probably regrets being married to her VP husband now that VP Harris is being fully supported for president of these United States. I'd say I would disagree with that. That woman's complicit. Sage says, like everyone keeps looking at his wife, at his brown wife, and being like, J.D. Vance's wife, that poor woman, or she probably she probably don't agree with his politics. I'm gonna go on this. I'm gonna say she's in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yes.
Sage says, love y'all, heart emoji. Alexandria Diary says, I get so emotional when I think about our next president being a black woman. If someone would have told me that this when I was a kid, I would laugh, but now it's just tears. If a felon can be the president, why are women being scrutinized? Hearing Joe telling Kamala he believes in her and calling her kid really got to me. Everybody's a kid to him.
Everybody's a child.
I love the energy in the room. I want blew up and down the ballot. Seeing the pushback on all these lies and dog whistles has made me so hopeful. I feel like we gained a second wave. We're in the third quarter playing this game 7, baby. Let's act like we're fighting for our lives, because we are. Kim Doc says, amazing show and exposition of the facts and events. Love that you played the clip of her addressing her campaign headquarters. There's definitely 43 black women on that staff, and that number will grow. I hollered when you said that, Rod. Like you said, I've been resolute the entire way, and hearing your convictions grounded me to my cause. She was my candidate in 2020, and we'll finally get the Aegon the Conqueror's real dream. Realize debate that was promised. LOL. I'm ordering up a Jakar's, and I like my meats well done. Thank you. This nigga ducking the debate, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot.
I don't think he's gonna have a debate. I think he said that like you said, he's a shark that got to swim. So when they was like, you going to debate? He was like, sure, yeah. And me as somebody who kind of knows this dude is a coward, this dude don't want to get fried, this dude don't want to not look bad, and knowing that I don't think that they're going to agree to the same shit that Joe Biden did, but she's going to like, no, we're not doing anything that you can just talk straight and y'all don't fact check. So he's not going to do it.
Even if she did that, even if they agreed to that, she would be capable of stopping him.
Yes.
Like, I watched it. Biden, it was sad, because if Biden would have had a quote unquote good day, the stuff was easy to check. He should have been able to stop that. That's why I felt sad. That's why I felt impotent watching this, because it's like, but Joe, even you should just be able to like succinctly throw that back in his face, and he just wasn't able to that night.
Right.
And that is a scary feeling as a voter, to be like, if you can't do it that night, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Is this a every night thing? Is this had an off night thing? How many off nights are there? Will there be another off night? If you do the debate again, I can't imagine it being worse than this. But if it somehow is worse or the same, people are going to freak the fuck out. I get it. But she would not do that, and he knows that, so he ain't want to debate her.
Right.
I cannot wait for the daily surgical and pinpoint precision takedown of the other side. This is just a taste. Much love, Kim Dot. Yes. And guys, another thing I was right about. God, you know I love being right. It wakes me up in the morning. I was so right about the tone and the tenor of this campaign needs to be, we getting Trump's ass out of here. And it's been working. I've been watching the ads. I've been seeing the clips. I've been seeing the tweets. It's working. It's resonating with people. Everyone told me, oh, no.
Do you have one to play? Do you have one?
I can look one up.
Okay, because I don't think I've seen any of them.
Well, her first campaign ad was her saying, to that Beyonce's Freedom, which I can't play.
Okay, right.
For YouTube,
Mhm.
but it was Freedom, and it was, you know, hopeful stuff. It was what you want out of a campaign. I'm not gonna front that you have to do that. But what was more important than that to me was the tweets and the ads that are just like her pointing out that this nigga's a criminal and that he's going to jail. She wants to put him in jail. That kind of stuff has been like, yes, that's what the fuck I want to see. So I had to go to, I wasn't prepared for this. I had to go to my page and keep scrolling until I find something I shared. But yeah, I appreciate the fact that it has been about like, nah, fuck him. Because people keep trying to tell me that it's something different, and I'm like, it's not.
And people act like being angry ain't enough. Bitch, yes, it is. This enough is enough is enough.
I'm not crazy. This
No.
and the reason I keep bringing this up is it's the one thing the one thing that people on our side do agree on. Like all this shit about like we don't agree on anything on the left. Yes, we do. We agree that Trump should not be fucking president. And we can do all this talking around it, and we can do all this like, but it should be because we're not going to agree on criminal justice. We're not going to agree on foreign policy. We're not going to agree on economics. We're not going. But one thing that all of us that are voting blue think is Trump is an existential threat and should not be president.
Agreed.
So just
vote on that.
Bring that up multiple times. Let motherfuckers know that we not playing. But I'll keep scrolling until I find it. I'm not finding it right now.
No problem. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just so many of these articles. I mean, so many of these clips were just like basically on some fuck Donald Trump. And I was like, yeah. Okay. Here's one. All right. Sorry. I had to scroll for a while, guys. This is, I believe, is from Kamala headquarters. That's the campaign headquarters Twitter account. And it's just Donald Trump. It says, we approve this message. And it's a clip of Donald Trump talk.
And then their campaign says, I'm the prosecutor and he is the convicted felon.
I'm Kamala Harris and I approve this message.
Yes. Petty, short, to the point energy. Because I want this nigga to go to jail. We don't need to, it don't need to be, everything don't need to be like, and I'm going to change the world. Some of this shit just need to be like, he got to go. Like, what are we doing? I'm waiting on one where she's just like, this nigga VP fuck couches. Like, I'm cool with it. We don't need a flowery bunch of hope all the time, dog.
No, we don't.
Some of this shit is real basic. And it's one of the few things that no matter where on the spectrum of being liberal you are on some like, yeah, but fuck that dude, right?
Can we all agree on that shit?
We can't agree on everything, but come on, we do this one. All right, back to this. Let's see, where was I at? Oh, it was YouTube comments, right? Select one says, love y'all for not tolerating the lies. The FBI ADOS lies are exhausting. Yeah, and I don't even know how many of those are real people. The amount of people I had to block off our YouTube that are just like a picture of a running back. I was gonna mention that earlier too. Someone brought up like the contrarian people. They caught a white dude that's a MAGA person faking being a black woman. It was a picture of a black woman, and it was like, I am not voting for Kamala Harris. I am a black woman, a real black woman, da da da. And he sent it from his Facebook account.
Oh, people go, you a black woman?
And he came up with some lie like, oh no, that's my friend in real life, and I had to log into my account on her phone, but and it's obvious a lie.
That you was
same way Blacks for Trump is white people wearing Black for Trump t-shirts.
Right. Be careful, y'all, when y'all hear these people being loud and proud, going, I'm not voting for her. I'm a real black person. You go, dawg, what is happening in here?
They are sick motherfuckers that need some type of attention or something. I'm not giving it to them. Even if it was a black woman, I wouldn't have gave it to her. But the fact that we know these ain't even real black people, that should say something.
Right.
And you know, I mean, come on, no offense, but a black woman, sorry brothers on this one, what's the odds you finding a black woman that's gonna come out and say that shit? It's very low. It's very low. I'm not saying it's zero.
Right.
Not even a percentage enough we need to be discussing those motherfuckers.
Agreed.
Like, come on, man. I knew it wasn't real because like her hair was not fucked up. So I said, okay, this ain't
right. Her head just wouldn't dry.
Yeah, shit. Come on now. Tara says, glad to find you here. Typically see you on Karen's show. Sub. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.
SDH says, from Song Facts, Boy George explained in the Billboard book of #1 hits by Fred Bronson, the song Karma Chameleon is about the terrible fear of alienation that people have, the fear of standing up for one thing. It's about trying to suck up to everybody. Basically, if you aren't true, if you don't act like you feel, then you get karma justice. That's nature's way of paying you back. I'm gonna tell you what, bruh, fam, I just read that. I still don't know what it means.
I'm about to say I'm still confused.
I'm not trying to be funny. Not trying to be an asshole.
Confused.
I read that. I read everything you wrote there. I'm sure that makes sense to Boy George or whoever explained that. But
it might make sense to plenty of listeners, but
what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I liked it better when someone told me it was about people being on the down low. That made somehow more sense than this.
So even if it's coming straight from them, I'm still like, I don't get it.
JV says, what is Caramel Chameleon? Never even knew the lyric. I never said caramel. I said karma. Karma. So Caramel Chameleon sound like a porn star from the 90s or some shit.
Yes.
From the 2000 Onion Booty era.
That's what that sound like.
Oh, you talking about Caramel Chameleon? Yeah, she was up there with Cherokee the Ass and
come on,
Carmen Hayes.
With
those are my favorite, right? All right, let's get to. Let's see. Let's see. That was Lock Him Up. I think we have 2 more to go. All right, you can't unburn that bridge. Let's go ahead and get to it. 9 comments. Whew. 10 comments. Someone just left a new comment.
It's still going down.
Appia says, I once hit reply all on a goodbye email. I said, good luck in your new position. I always liked you. Pretty harmless. Still, when I noticed it, I felt absolutely terrible. The mail went to maybe 600 people. I got an email from one colleague criticizing me for it and one call. I felt bad for 2 days. Satan created reply all. Mary says, I agree with your last sentiment, Appia. What is the point of reply all? Even the most accidental benign reply all like yours causes chaos. I think you should have to opt into that button. Yeah, it should be like 3 clicks.
Yes. Are you sure? Like it should be when you hit reply, it's straight. But when you hit reply all, it should literally say, are you sure? Because too many people have done reply all, and child, even at my job, it is motherfucking chaos of take me out of this list, take me out of this list, take me out of this list. One thing I do like about it, somebody, I did not know this, but in Teams, sometimes the emails and things from the email can be in Teams. So somebody did like a reply all to like everybody, and child, everybody just started removing themselves from the chat. I was like, good, and I just removed myself too, because like that's easier than having everybody fussing and hollering and complaining the whole time. Having manager after manager 3 days later, you be like, oh Lord, please. No, I'm like you, it causes a shit show. So if anything, they need to fix that feature. When you click it, it should be like, are you sure you want to do this?
Appia says, even from over the ocean, I feel great energy and hope about Kamala. Here's my suggestion to react to people who say negative stuff about her. I know you love suggestions from white women. As Rod said, I don't care is a great answer. I don't engage. Don't let people shit on your positive mood. It doesn't really matter what trolls say, and who knows if they are even voting. I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing. So thanks for the advice on how I've been handling it. I appreciate the backup on that. But I also really genuinely, truly do not care. Like it's a simple choice between Trump or this. Anything else is some Russian cyber op shit. If you want me to think that you, general black man who loves black people, is okay with Trump or me, or is okay with either me, A, not voting for Kamala and letting Trump win, or B, voting for Trump. You're an op, and I don't respect you, and will never be the same kind of person. And I would not like to share a space with you. I'm pretty sure that Trump will want to debate her because he is a big narcissist. I'm pretty sure about it. And they have one big weakness. They are easily bored and need lots of new stimulation. Well, he's also a coward and he's running, so I don't know.
He's also a narcissist, and shit like this would not make him look good. So why would he do something and not make him look good where he can't be the center of the attention?
Yeah, but she's saying he's a narcissist, so he would do it. And you're saying he's a narcissist, so he won't. I don't know. Because the thing with narcissists, you would need that person to believe that they would look bad. I don't know what the fuck he believes. I think he's a coward.
Yeah, okay, more than anything.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm with you. Yes. I think he's a coward too.
I think he's a fucking coward. And he knows that what happened with him and Biden was his wet dream.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows he can't top that, I think. So he wouldn't even have Harris out there, or he's going to have to get basically goaded into doing Harris, where enough people talk shit about him that he'll do it. There's another thing she said on her Twitter account was like, yeah, I heard he's scared to debate me. And I was like, yes, get his ass. He knows pretty surly, feels envious of all the attention she gets and wants in on the action. Narcissists have a very poor inner life and cannot just live in peace with themselves. He feels better when he has negative attention on him than just being in peace. And when not a lot is happening, when nothing is happening, he feels a hole in his soul. They need the outside world to entertain them to escape the emptiness of their soul. EV says, Karen, you have been on fire this week. I've shared your every emotion from the sadness and anger to optimism. Now I had that same feeling. We're on the cusp of something historical. I will be donating to Kamala Harris's campaign as well. I live in Pennsylvania and would love to see Shapiro as the VP. I voted for him after all. And if they win PA, will have a black governor. Shapiro is one of them ones, and his clapbacks are always chef's kiss. People say him being Jewish will hurt the ticket, but we're already having a black woman running, so might as well go with the guy who has lots of charisma. Besides, Republicans claim the left is anti-Semitic because of their stance on Palestine, but with Shapiro on the ticket, then what? No matter who is selected as Harris's running mate, I'm fully behind them for the first time in a long time. I'm excited to vote.
Yeah, I'm with you. It won't matter who a VP is. I'm voting for her. All the energy that I have from Joe is very simple for me. It just transferred over to her. The same energy, the same let's go, the same anybody but Trump is just that simple to me.
I have more energy for Kamala than I have for Joe. And I had a lot of energy for Joe. But I think Kamala's a better candidate as far as the way to run this thing and then kind of putting some of the conciliatory talking behind us and focusing on wrapping Trump's ass up and getting him out of here. The Sonya Massey shooting was horrible and only underlines that we need Harris in office because if Dump gets back in, cops are going to see it as open season. Well, he's absolutely pro qualified immunity. He's pro abusing people. A lot of the protesters went away when they would stop marching when Trump was in office, even after all that shit they talked. So the cops definitely will feel even more emboldened. And I don't feel like I know you're not saying this, Evie. We on the same page, but it's not like I think having a Democratic president makes all the cops stop shooting people.
Right.
Clearly, it's going to still happen. The question becomes, what will be done about it? I want to live in a world where that cop is charged with murder and off the force and now in someone's courtroom, in someone's jail. I don't want to live in a world where Donald Trump is like, yeah, that's what the fuck they should get.
The end, no investigation, no nothing.
I want to live in a world where my president talks about those things, where Joe Biden did talk about it. Kamala Harris talked about it and called her family. I want to live in that. That's the kind of humanity I want in my leaders. That's people who care about black people. That's why it's like, how fucking dare these people? Like, is she even gonna care about black people? What are you talking about?
Right.
Ramsey D. Jenkins says, Karen, I'm you right now. I was mad when America elected that man as president. It's taking years of self-reflection and time to realize people were people. I keep coming back to this podcast because you all provide facts and opinions beyond politics. I'm donating to VP Harris's campaign, and I will work the polls on November 5th. Keep doing what y'all do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ronan Raphael says, all right, come get your hug, Rod. Karen, you sure we not related? If you win the mega lottery, you know you got a brother in Brooklyn who deserves 5%. I appreciate the both of you. I never reply all I never reply all at work. However, during my Navy days, young white kid from Idaho who was brand new from basic training, after reading the commanding officer's weekly email to the whole command, kid responded with a detailed message about his weekend activities and asking a question or two about work. First, we're bottom of the food chain, lower enlisted. We don't speak unless we have followed chain of command. Kid got to meet and know all his senior officers by the end of the day, multiple chewed out. Plus a forever joke from everyone asking him if he had responded to emails from admirals, chief of naval ops, defense secretary going forward. 2 years later, the joke was still a thing. Much better than the guy in the underwear replied, though. Yeah, man, that reply. I'll be killing people, boy. Suave P says that congresswoman that called VP Harris a DEI hire, Harriet Hageman, I guess, of Wyoming, is the woman who challenged and ultimately ousted, you guessed it, former Congresswoman Liz Cheney. They only get more MAGA over there, don't they? And yes, she should definitely check the 23andMe before speaking derisively about the vice president, Suave. Ms. Barnes says, I learned the hard way to check who I'm replying to in an email. I received a reply from a manager who asked to do some research. When he replied, I thought I forwarded his response to another manager talking shit about him, when actually I hit reply, and in a 4K, he saw that what I thought about his response. Oops. Keith says, I'm often frustrated as a Dem voter because so many people on this side of the aisle are weak-ass crybabies who are always desperately searching for a reason to give up that are impossible to rely on from election to election. Keith, you, me, same. That's something to speak about often, that you speak about often on this podcast too. I'm so jaded about pretending to care about what these people want, since even they don't know what the fuck that is.
Right.
But with that being said, the way the whole party immediately lined up behind Harris, I don't remember the last time Dems and the voters were this organized, quick, and decisive about anything. That's the reason I'm not entertaining any media people acting like this was not a democratic process. They need to have an open convention. Look at the fucking voters.
Right.
No one's asking for this. You're not doing us the favor. Like, if you want to act like you did us the favor by making Biden step down, take that W.
Right.
You got what you wanted.
Right.
That's all you get.
You don't get nothing else.
You get what the party has decided was the chain of succession a long time ago. You get next person up, and it's Kamala Harris. Now get down and lay down.
Right.
But yeah, even though Obama's easy general election win in 2008 had the long summer of drama where he beat Clinton. I remember that. Oh God. Let's hope this momentum carries through the fall. But a week ago, I was worried people wouldn't understand the assignment. Yeah, Keith. Yep, I was worried too, bro. I'm right there with you. That was the only thing I was ever worried about, was just people fucking this up. Period. Ooh, 12 comments on YouTube. Oh my God, guys, I'm so tired. Let's see. Keep doing you, says Tony Girl. Listener for over 8 years. Had to see if I was blocked for a difference of political opinion, says Mr. Rob. Apparently you're not. And I don't know what the difference of opinion is, so we'll find out. I mean, just understand this. It's a recurring thing. So you're not blocked yet, but it could happen, just depending on if you decide to go ham. I don't have a problem with people having difference of opinion. That's not the problem for me. I just operate on truths. And then the other thing is, I'm not tolerating those fucking ADOS troll types.
I know.
Y'all know we never played well with hoteps over here. We never had them niggas on our show. That's that other lowbrow shit y'all listen to. Tabitha says, oh yes, we got to account for the digital blackface. Too many real black people were falling for obvious Russian blackface propaganda in 2016 and 2020 and turned into their parrots. Thankfully, enough of us are calling it out and fighting against it now. Yep. Tiffany says, I'm glad Karen processed her reaction regarding Kamala's nomination in real time. I was one of the people that was excited for her run in 2016. And I was disappointed by the response she received then. I think one of the main issues that we had was we had too many choices and a lot of special interests in all the Democratic nominees.
Right.
And above all, we needed to have someone who had the best chance to beat Trump. So people leaned into their special interests, black, gay, reproductive rights, etc., until we had no choice other than to go with Joe Biden, who was our best unifying chance. I do not mean to minimize President Biden's accomplishment, dedication, selflessness, or his experience. I'm just saying he was not the sexiest choice in terms of moving the party in a more progressive direction. And I think our country was experiencing whiplash from the progress we made under the Obama administration and then the swift attempt to unravel all that progress under Trump. The knee-jerk reaction is to try to reverse everything immediately. But what we needed was Biden's moderate stance that moved us back to the center a little, so that we could get back into the business of progress. Like Karen, I agree that 3 months before the election feels too late. But given the fact that everyone is getting behind VP Harris, is so encouraging. Had Biden gotten out of a more comfortable time for Democrats, I think there would have been other Dems trying to throw their hats in, and it would have been a repeat of 2016. Right. That's another thing you didn't hear people say, but anybody who would have run that wasn't Kamala would have needed to organize a campaign right now. Like from the ground. Like I got to get a presidential campaign together, and it needs to, and not a presidential campaign that can start working 3 to 4 months from now. Yesterday.
That's impossible.
I think as uncomfortable as Biden dropping out has first felt, and provided Kamala wins, this is the best way this could have happened. Amani says, I'm a stud or a bull dagger's understudy. Can I say that? I mean, you wrote it. I just read it.
Yeah, you just read it.
Understudy, and I appreciate you both for taking time for LGBTQ news. This is the first time I've been able to hear the audio of the theme song well on YouTube, and it's about. Yeah, I think that's because when me and Karen are here, I can turn on the studio sound, and y'all can hear it more clear after they change Crowdcast. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That song is about. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I don't know what to say about the BD word. Is that what we say? I don't know. Did I say it with the hard R? You spelled it with the hard R. I
don't know.
I wouldn't say it. Is what I'm saying. Nobody write me. Okay?
Right. Nobody write us.
I feel like that's off limits for me. Jane says, I'm from Charlotte too. Love y'all and love seeing y'all on the Karen Hunter show. Thank you, Jane. Alexandra says, Rod, Javon Thomas, me, black. Michael says, excellent episode. Thank you. I come here for truth and humanity. Thank you. Amani also says, as far as that Secret Service leader stepping down, she had to do what a good leader does, which is take responsibility, even though the failure wasn't her fault.
Right.
I would say that because she wasn't in Butler, PA during the attempt to juice the orange, that she was not She was not in direct fault for that inept response. And because she's the face of the organization in the midst of an obvious failure, her stepping down should help to restore faith in the institution. Unrelated, I'll be spreading the word about this podcast. Yes, Amani, spread it. Jason says, okay, y'all gotta isolate Karen at 32:45 when she goes, bitch, I've been playing. It's not a game. That was made for the nerd off. I loved it. Thank you, Jason. Calibra Mike says, what up, Karen and Rod? Man, the only negative fake outrage scared of the DEI Duchess is Fex News. And they're moving over so slightly to the black woman is coming to take your money and turn all y'all kids gay and DEI. Yeah, they trying to be scared of her.
They got everything. They just throwing shit at the wall right now.
I'm gonna tell you the craziest thing about the Fox News obsession with Kamala Harris, and it's gonna be everywhere. They cannot help when they want to fuck a woman. It comes out in every fucking thing they talk about.
All they comments, yes, it does.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Just the way they describe them and everything. I agree.
I've already heard clips like on the media was really good, like where you have. They say creepy shit. Someone called her the hot tour girl. I'm like, bro, you be looking at her thinking about her spitting on your dick. That's what that's really about.
Yes, that is.
And I'm not saying I don't think that too. I just would never say that.
What? Yeah.
What's wrong with y'all?
Right. Your news media.
I know she's an attractive woman. People be attractive.
Right.
Y'all are on fucking TV.
Right. That's your job.
What are y'all don't have a comedy podcast. Y'all doing the news. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Dude, one dude was like, she could tell. I think she wants to flirt with America. I'm like, what are you talking? You want to fuck her so bad. They did the same thing with AOC.
Yes, they did.
They do not know what to do when they want to fuck a woman. They really do not. They just like it. They brains and they tongues just fucking stop working. They just like, oh, Kamala Harris's policies. No, I want to talk about that pile of pussy. Okay, what she's sitting on. I'm like, what?
How did we get here? Do you know your life?
There's women on the set with you. What you doing?
Right.
Didn't y'all have a whole Me Too reckoning that was a fucking movie?
The company had to pay billions of dollars, millions of dollars.
Y'all still doing that. I don't watch that shit, so I only know this through these clips. But y'all still doing that. Well, I guess good for consistency, I guess. Y'all sticking to it. Goodwill Blurton says, this is why I listen to the Blackout Tips. I share every one of your sentiments. For the first time ever, I donated to a political party. Been blocking anti-Harris people like crazy. Keep doing what y'all do, and thank y'all. All right. We got one last episode to talk about. Then we got voicemails and emails.
Yes, sir. We can make it.
I mean, you ain't got to do all this reading, so it's easy for you.
We can make it. I'm going to get you a Snickers.
All right. So, let me play some music so I can
take a break,
get my brain right. Okay, guys, we'll be right back.
You are not worthy.
If you got a podcast and y'all be jealous of us because we get a lot of feedback, just understand this is about to be a 4-hour show. Y'all don't want to do this on Saturday.
I know y'all don't.
Just count your blessings, stay in your lane, run your own race. Don't look over at the next person on the treadmill. That ain't your pace. Episode 2947, the Black the Dragon. 8 comments. EVE says Amon is kind of scary because we see how far he will go for power. The way he stood over his brother almost made me feel sorry for Aegon. Aegon is a garbage human being.
Right?
Allison continues to get what she deserves. I didn't even know there was a third brother. Maybe I missed it, but it's the first time I'm hearing about him, which is in my opinion means they're probably going to kill him off and send Allison into a mental breakdown because that's the only good son. Yeah, they've mentioned him a few times. We've never seen him. I don't even know if they've cast that character.
I don't know either.
They got 2 episodes left, so maybe they're saving him for season 3.
I'm assuming so. I don't think we're gonna see him this season.
I think the opposite. When we haven't seen this 16-year-old that they've talked about, it makes me feel like one of her other sons gonna die. Cause like you gotta make room for that character at some point to come in. Why did Sea Smoke come at Adam like Fleece Johnson, the booty warrior? He had Adam cowering against the rocks like, I likes you and I want you. We can do this the easy way or the hard way.
Right?
That was my limited Fleece Johnson. I haven't done that in 10 years.
Yeah, I'm about to say forever.
I felt right though. It felt like that's how you sound.
And that's how it sounded to me.
Rona Raphael says, did you really say let us pray? I love that. For once, Arby's got the love, and I agree. King's Landing needed that. No judgment. Now, as the heir to my late auntie, it's only fair that I get a dragon. Now I finally understand why they tell me to read the manual before using. Let's just say that I am fire and blood. Be right back. Got to finish reading the manual. You can't be in the air with the dragon. Like, hold on, is a left is the left stick or the right stick? Ernest says, I just want to say that I'm so glad to be listening to House of Dragon recaps that pulls out the Willie Hutch when a dragon selects a rider. Thank you for your hard work and shout out to the chat room. Thank you. Shubu, and that's something that I wrote that in my notes like this got to be the last thing we'd say on the show. I do love doing these reviews.
They're fun.
Shoe Booty says, can I pet that dog? Miss Barnes says, this is an Amon appreciation post. Can we talk about how the villain fits be fitting? The hair is smooth and laid, and he looks like he smelled good. I had the same philosophy as the gangsters in Supercell. Amon will absolutely kill me, but because he has that UK accent, I will smile as he sets me to 5,000 degrees in the dragon oven. I do like the evil ones for some odd reason. Keith says Felt 5 is the GOAT. I can't stop rewinding that intro. He is the GOAT.
The intro is flames.
Cobra X says, damn, I'm slow, shaking my head. It took me until this episode to realize just how bad of a parent Allison, hell, Jay Harris too, must have been. Then again, King's Landing must be a terrible place to raise kids.
Yes, it is.
I think that, that's tough.
We would say yes.
Privilege. Aisha L says, do y'all believe Missaria and her story about the scar on her throat? I'm interested to know if this is the real story. She made something up every time she explains it. I'm not sure if Rhaenyra should let her guard down around Missaria. Okay, could be possible. Anything's possible. We didn't read the books and we don't know. But let me just say this, Aisha. TV writing wise, it would be odd to say she's lying about that scar and not give us confirmation at some point of her telling someone else a different reason she got the scar.
Yeah, because she had asked her about it earlier, and she actually just didn't comment on it.
Right, but I mean, what I mean is not tell Rhaenyra. I mean, like
tell somebody
Damon,
a completely different character.
Because we've seen her on screen many times. If it was a thing where we were like, oh man, you can't trust her. She told someone else she got the scar a different way. It will be weird to introduce it to us this way, where they show us this story, and then later on, I guess, because we have to see it on screen. Later on, she lies and tells someone another story about the scar. But it could happen. Anything could happen on this show. I don't know any more than you. I feel like they've written Missaria as trustworthy enough that Rhaenyra can let her guard down around her.
Right.
I think the releasing her, like it wasn't some master plan for her to get sent there. Releasing her helping her with the Russian information, the fact that they both like have dealt with Damon. The fact that we've seen Missaria care about the small folk when she didn't have to. Mm-hmm. All those things lead me to go, she's probably a person you can trust more than you can't trust for Rhaenyra anyway.
Yeah, and also another reason why I think, like I said, until proven otherwise through the show, another reason why I think she's telling the truth is because, you know, it's known that the city that the place she came from was like the ghetto, like just really just a fucked up area. So, you know, and with her being, you know, the white worm and knowing all these secrets and things like that, you know, I do believe that her history was so fucked up that she was like, no, I don't trust none of these niggas.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, we'll find out though.
Mm-hmm. We'll find out. You might be right, but
you could be right. I don't know.
But as of now, as of what we've been presented, I think that she's telling the truth.
Basically. Mm-hmm. Tiffany says on our YouTube, I love how we no longer call him Sir Kristen Cole. He forever gonna be BBL Chrissy, and I need Damon to do something else. I'm done being part of his mushroom fever dream. DMQ the Great says, Lord DEI has me hella rolling. Thank you. Christoph, and that's something a fan came up with. We just adopted it into the show because that was so funny. Christoph says, great recap as always. My favorite part of the week. Pa the rapper. Wait, you know your name. Love the crowns. Thank you. Dorcas 60s just smiling, laughing, the crying emoji, sweating laughing. Laughing so hard. Duolingo. I caught the broken Havalarian too. I knew he was toast, not the balloon pop. No, Simon. Crystal says no. Simon is kind of suspect. He keeps being there when he wakes up. When Damon wakes up from the dreams, then when we see later him, he gives a weird look after he tells Damon that Lord Grover died. Crystal, I think you're a little too paranoid. I mean, maybe Simon is like super mastermind, but I feel like you're a little too paranoid. I don't think it's Simon. If someone is really fucking with him, I think it might be Alice.
I think Alice,
but
is
Simon.
And
plus, some of them times it wasn't like Simon woke him up. Like Damon was walking around and found his ass
and ran into him.
Yeah.
And also I think though, I know you're talking about the look that Simon gave him was because he broke the news, and instead of him being like, oh, he was like, yes.
Yeah.
He was like, dog, I just told you a dude died and you fist pumping. I don't you're signed like a relief. You're not actually going through a mourning process for this family that just lost their leader.
Thank you, Karen. I agree completely. That's what I read it as is I got some, because he even says I have some devastating or terrible news.
Yes.
And Damon's like, yes, finally this nigga is dead. Oh my God.
He was like,
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. I'm so happy. It's like
he was like, I'm glad that nigga gone. He's like, but
and Crystal's like, why was Simon acting so weird? Like, what? No.
Simon was like, this is a weird response, sir.
Calibra Mike says, bro, when I hear Wild Dragons Untamed, I can't help but think of the skit when Jamie Foxx is talking about a pit bull outside walking around with no leash. Bro, I love dogs. but there's something about a big ass pit coming up around you without any restraints. That's what I feel. That's what I feel when a dragon's around. Yes.
You don't know what it's gonna do.
Honestly, it's even worse, right? Because it's a dragon.
Yes, you might can outrun a dog.
I can't even imagine in my mind a dragon. Like, it's just, yeah. Would you be willing to try to bond with a dragon? Yes or no?
No.
42% said yes. I'm shocked.
I know I ain't got nobody's Valerian blood.
58% said no, which I'm on that side of no. And it's not really about whether I have Valerian blood. It's just that the consequence for getting it wrong is death.
Yes, it is.
I don't want to die trying to get on a dragon.
Then I got to learn another language. I'm good, dog.
I really wish I could had a superpower where I could make y'all have to do it now. But will I have a dragon there? It'll be like, oh, I was just bullshitting on that pole, man. All right, we got some voicemails coming in.
Take another music break.
Yep. Let me see. Here we go. Psycho music. Send to Tulo.
Psycho
music.
All right, voicemail time. We got five different callers. It's Sierra.
Hey y'all, it's Sierra. So, fun fact today. Today I was going to start quitting drinking. I was going to quit the wine and champagne in Jesus' name. And then Joe Biden dropped out of the race. So then I immediately went to the Total Wine and got me the ginger Moscato.
Come on, Ginger.
3 bottles to be exact. And used my marijuana prescription. Shout out to that. Yo. Anyway. Can't wait for the recap. Bro. I was so excited. Why did they cut the dragons off before we got to see niggas on dragons? Like, I was so excited. First of all, brother cutting his white hair, then the other brother, that's both their sons. Boom. Now it's about to be niggas on dragons. It's about to be niggas on dragons. 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 I am so fucking excited. Karen, by the way, your hair looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Make sure we take some FMLA because shit's about to get real. Bye.
And I just gotta say, we have seen niggas on dragons. Cause Lenore had a dragon. Obviously, Bayla has a dragon. But yeah, I'm very excited still to see Corliss's bastards on dragons.
That's more what it is.
Yeah, well, we've seen a bastard on the dragon too, Jon Snow. But I want to see, I want to see Corliss's bastards on dragons.
Yeah, we haven't seen black bastards on dragons.
Right, exactly. That won't be the title of the show. I'm pretty sure that's not okay.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna be like, no.
I can't wait for the Rodimus Prime soothsaying psychic read because I already know next week gonna be fun because that nigga gonna be like, my name is Laquan Johnson, and I am the son of the nigga with the white hair, and the bitch chose me. My bitch is choosy, never ever fuck without a rubber. I believe y'all on my bed. Bye. But yeah, it's the era. Bye. Yo, this shit. Damn, there's 2 episodes left. Fuck.
I know.
I just got mad.
I know.
All right, y'all. Bye.
I just got mad.
I'm mad it's almost over. I'm mad it's almost over. I love it. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. Not everybody gets down with the Dragon show, but goddamn, I fucking love it. This shit's gonna suck when we gotta wait another year or 2 to get more.
Right.
But let's enjoy it while it's here. Mm-hmm. All right. Next voicemail is from an unknown person.
Hey, Rod and Karen. I'll try to keep this short. Huge fan of the show.
and especially of the episode yesterday on Biden dropping out and Kamala. Probably not your core demographic is a white man from California, but I would say I could not agree with you, and especially the emotion that Karen was going through about this. And Kamala Harris, 2024, all the way. If they jump over her after shivving Biden, I will never forgive the Democrats, even though I have voted for them for 30 plus years.
Agreed.
And I just want to say, you are nicer people than I, because I'm keeping a list of the people who shivved him within the party. And if those people think they're getting votes or money from me, they better think again. But we need to be all in for Kamala, and you provide such an amazingly valuable perspective, one that for me is obviously sometimes new, challenging. Really appreciate you all, and thanks. Keep up the amazing work. All right, peace.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sweetie.
that. Say your name so I can put it on the call list.
Yeah,
but,
say your name next time.
But here's the thing though. Don't get it twisted about me, okay? Karen is nakedly angry person when she's very upset. Like it's out there, it's very passionate, it's 10 out of 10. It's, you know, and sometimes it's not even that she's feeling a 10 out of 10, but that's how she expresses it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am so mad, and I will always remember this. And I do have a list of names. I ain't forgetting shit. I don't forget anything. Even when I forgive people, I don't forget shit. Like, I'm very good at processing my emotions and being like, I don't want to be stuck on this.
Right.
I'm moving on. But if you think I'm forget the motherfuckers that was orchestrating this shit and eroded the confidence to, I won't forget. They just gotta hope we win. Everything cool if we win. That's really as simple, but it's been that way for me the whole time.
I agree. Everything cool if
I've
we win.
never, like, I don't see the point in wasting my emotional energy right now on being mad at these motherfuckers.
I need to see the result.
The heat of 7 hells I will have if somehow this doesn't work is the one where I'm like, so it is true. Y'all will only look the other way for an old white man's mistakes. Now, hopefully, enough is on the line. Enough people learn from the last 8 years. Hopefully, I can smile the day after the election and go, well, goddamn, y'all did learn. Not that I think everybody's a good person or became a better person, but just y'all learned that you can't keep fucking around.
Right.
All right. That's acceptable to me. So, yeah, we'll find out together. Let's see. Erica left 3 voicemails.
Hey, Rod and Karen, it's Erica. This whole switch up with the campaign, I kind of find it unsettling. I just want to say that VP Harris has my full support. I just moved. I'm up here making sure my voter registration is up to date, so that way there's no funny business when I go to cast my vote. But yesterday, I had posted something in support of VP Harris, and this dusty ass nigga comes in my inbox talking, she's a hoe, she slept her way to the top, she don't know what she's doing, she's not a VP who actually held Biden down, she didn't do nothing. And I kept asking him, well, what VP has done stuff? I mean, literally the VP's role is to support the president.
Right.
And I kept asking him to name VPs that actually did stuff. He couldn't. He couldn't name any of Biden's accomplishments. I think what I'm going to be most annoyed by during this time is the misinformation and the people who didn't even pass a fucking basic civils course trying to tell me about politics.
Right.
Call back.
This is Eric again. I just had to call back in reference to that first message I left about that dusty nigga in my inbox saying some disparaging things about VP Harris. And I personally am just insulted for her because he just said, and I quote, Kamala ain't nothing but a hoe, sucked and fucked her way to the top.
Jesus.
I mean, I said she's college educated, has extensive experience as a prosecutor and senator, and all you can say is that she's a hoe. And then he's going to say, well, I know plenty of college educated people who are dumb, so that's invalid. I don't know. I was just so frustrated. I don't even know why I was engaging with this motherfucker. But this is a sad reflection of what a couple of probably a lot of Black men are saying, because I've seen it throughout the comments, and I just found it really disheartening. If there wasn't a time for unity and putting the gender wars aside, is right now. Whether you like it or not, we need to get behind her.
Yeah, a lot of brothers been red pilled, man. A lot of these brothers, that Kevin Samuel shit is a gateway. Charlemagne the Breakfast Club is a gateway. A lot of this stuff is a gateway to get you into this weird hotel propaganda space where you're almost like QAnon, and you got your own set of facts and talking points. And a lot of this stuff is virtue signaling for other Black men of that ilk, so that they see you saying that stuff and go, oh, okay, you one of us.
Right.
And they can't see how pathetic they look, because if I were to bring up like some QAnon shit, they'd be like, well, obviously those white people are brainwashed. But if I say, well, if you're questioning her ethnicity in 2024, which is something that was started by right-wing propagandists, you've been taken. Then all of a sudden they're like, no, that's different. They ain't got nothing to do with that. She ain't Black, you know? She called back on Wednesday.
Good morning, Rod and Karen. This is Erica again. I had to pause the episode because you were touching on the band of trans individuals and Divine Nine organizations, specifically Alpha. I am a proud member of a Divine Nine organization, and I just want to say, when I was becoming a member, nobody asked me for proof of my gender. So with that being said, if you're carrying yourself like a woman, why do I need to question it? At this point, I am more concerned about if they're going to be financial and active, because we got enough letter wearers. We got enough people who just go to the parties and stroll. I don't know exactly how I feel about that. I just say, like, I'm not checking anybody's vagina when they try to get into the organization.
Right.
So who am I to question it? I just want quality people. Again, thank you for your wonderful commentary and your amazing shows. And you know how I feel about you guys. Bye.
Thank you, Erica. Yeah, and I mean, it's funny because, like, it could be that simple in some ways. Like, I think obviously those of us that are very progressive, very liberal, try to be inclusive, all that stuff, many of us would like to make people truly have empathy and understanding. In a perfect world, I would love to be able to say, no, that's being inclusive or tolerant or whatever word, that's not good enough. You need to respect and understand and believe people. But I know that's a fucking pipe dream. Right. That's not going to happen. And it doesn't, if it can't happen with race, it ain't happening with gender, right? So I don't walk around, I don't expect people to not be racist. I don't expect a restaurant owner to all be fucking Democrats and liberals and inclusive. What I expect is, according to the law, if I fucking want to eat there, you got to fucking serve me.
Regardless of how you
got
feel
to treat me the way
me.
you serve the rest of the public. You can't single me out for mistreatment.
Right.
And I feel like some of this stuff is the same way. I know the Divine Nine orgs are like private orgs and all that stuff, but like some of this stuff is like, well, it can't be as simple as like you are moving as a woman moves within the parameters we've set up for what we define as feminine. Why the fuck is genitals coming into this for this particular circumstance? Because I would guarantee you it's going to be around fear-mongering stuff.
Yes.
That isn't really happening. And I think that's important that it's not happening. But, you know, once again, I kind of have misgivings with the concept of what sororities and fraternities have become versus, you know, not what they promoted themselves up and what they're supposed to be. But at least during my time on campus, it really was more of a like social club / party thing and much less about academic or charitable pursuits during my time on campus. And it was just more like a cool kid situation. And so I think I don't have the reverence that a lot of people have for them. And the same way I am with church too, right? And like, I don't have the reverence that goes, well, this is tradition, and if they say this is the rule, I'll be like, well, it's a dumb rule. You know what I mean? But I guess I ain't got to live with it, and y'all don't got to care about my opinion because, you know, not you, but people don't have to care about my opinion because I'm not in the group. But, you know, it's whatever. Iman left 3 voicemails, not 28.
Hey, Rod. Hey, Karen. This is Iman. Today is Tuesday, July 23rd. I am hopefully leaving one message about the Kamala Harris episode. I love the show art, the dope panic, because honestly, I panicked. It was Sunday. I came back home, like I needed some time to myself, and my husband was with the kids. And my thing for me, my time to myself, I like to detail my car. And so I did that, and then the news popped up on my phone, and I was just like so upset. And I did. I came home and I sat down and I like had angry tears. And my husband, he held me. He was like, "What's this really about?" I was like, "I'm scared." I was like, "I'm actually scared."
Right.
That I was like, I feel like people don't remember what it was like, what 2016 election was like, what the 2020 was like. I was like, did people forget? I was like, I know no one wants to really remember the Trump years, but it was bad. It was like feelings got broken up. So many people died, just like Karen said, and Karen, your rant so on point, like always. So I know, right? And we don't want that. So but yes, listening to the podcast has been so great, and thank y'all for the work you do, because like I was on a private Facebook group that involved just Black women, and of course I was seeing some of those old Russian propaganda things pop up again, and people like were excited, but they were also like still spreading some of that stuff around. And I was like, okay, I know, we've been listening to the Black Guys and Tips, and I shared some of the things that y'all have said on the podcast of people that you've talked about who had the
She had to call
It's
back.
Simon again. This is my second message. No more after this, at least today. Not until y'all do the recap. But I just want to thank y'all again for all the work you do, all the BS y'all go through just to get us this information, whether people, you know, in good faith are trying to talk to y'all about this and share their opinions and whatnot. But I really just thank y'all, because I had the tools. And I get nervous about talking about this stuff online with people, because I'm just like, I don't want to go through some Facebook, like just have my peace disturbed over like a Facebook rant someone's on. But someone actually said thank you after I shared with them about like the truth and lies and the Russian propaganda that Kamala Harris had went through back in 2020. And so they were like, wow, thank you for that. Yeah, it got me. The propaganda got me. And I just felt so good about that. And I just have to thank y'all for that, because I got the information. I knew where to look for the information because of y'all. So again, thank y'all. And that's it. I can't wait till the recap. Yeah, the recap episode for Game of Thrones. So bye-bye. Love y'all.
Bye. You too. Did she call back?
Hey, Ron. Hey, Karen. It's Iman. Great House of the Dragons recap episode. It was so funny. I listened to it twice. But yeah, y'all hit pretty much all the points. I had even like when old dude punched that guy for his bag of food. When I was watching it, I was thinking, I was like, was that City High song? Like, what would you do? Was that home? And I'm alone on the bed.
That's
I was like, he
hilarious.
touched somebody. That's what he did. I was like, chilling to his wife, like trying to get him out before all this happened. But oh well. And then it was like, I was thinking, yeah, Rod picked the perfect song, because Damon freaking out again. And when he said, "Stop watching me," I was like, really picked the perfect song. And then with Sea Smoke, I was like, oh, this is gonna be such a great recap episode. And it did. And it was. I was so happy. But yes, that's it. Want to give y'all your props. Love you. Bye bye.
Too. Thank you. I'm glad the episode delivered for you. That's means a lot to me. Last one's from Ebony.
Hey, Rod and Karen. This is Ebony, aka Look, I did not even expect y'all to read my my comment. I actually had deleted it earlier in the week because I'm just like, man, I don't want to be that nigga that's in their feelings and going back and forth in the comments or whatever. But, you know, it is what it is. But I just genuinely want to say this from the bottom of my heart. I am just so happy to hear the enthusiasm, you know, in y'all voice. Like, hope is back, baby. Mm-hmm. Like, I honestly did not know, you know, how it was going to go when the president, you know, said that he wasn't going to run again because they really didn't have a plan. But just the political astuteness for him to immediately endorse Kamala and how it's taken off, like, I just have hope that I ain't had in like a very, very long time that she is going to mollywop this motherfucker in November. Like, I was on a call, on one of those Zoom calls on Sunday, and just how people are activating is just incredible. And so I'm, you know, I couldn't be happier. Well, I guess I could be happier maybe if she chose Secretary Pete for her running mate or whatever. But the only other thing I would have said to you guys, just like when I heard you say thanking the donor class, the white donor class, I'm like, wait a minute, can the black donor class get some respect on my name too? Now, I ain't donated millions, but I just fucked up some commas behind some Democratic candidates. But anyway, I just say all that to say, you know, really glad to hear y'all's enthusiasm and activation behind Kamala, and I really think that this is going to be a positive thing. So y'all take care, have a great weekend, love the show. Yeah, y'all be good. Bye.
Okay, first of all, Ebbs, you got to start. You got to leave voicemails. No more comments on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
This is way better. I can hear the tone in your voice. You know, I don't know if like it made you decide to use like a different words or whatever, but this feel much better
for me
than
too.
The other stuff. But then the other thing I have to say, like, yeah, it's time to unify behind somebody. I am charged up, and I'm charged up because it was that people didn't let me down. I was very, very concerned that the push for him to step down was just on some like, and then we'll just find somebody. And I just think that would have been even worse than him staying in. I thought I was just trying to keep us from doing the worst thing, which is just, you know, oh, it's not Joe Biden, it's Gretchen Whitmer, it's Gavin Newsom, and it's just like, oh, we just lost. That's it. I can't imagine a world where that goes over and everybody is enthusiastic and votes. I know where white people will be. I know where the donor class of white people will be. I can't speak for anybody else. That being said, the donor class white people are getting that attention more so than the black folks, because, you know, your George Clooney's, your Disney heiress, those are the people that put their names on it. The politicians who were anti-Biden, who were saying step down, was almost entirely white. So
yeah, it just did not look good.
I'm not saying you're not special. I'm not saying you shouldn't be included. I'm not saying you're invisible. But when I brought that up, I was specifically talking about the people who put their face on it.
Right.
This wasn't Jay-Z and Beyonce. This wasn't Barack and Michelle even. Publicly, it was white people putting their name on it. It was, you know, your Aaron Sorkin. You know, like I can go down the list. So that's why I said that. It wasn't about erasing the black people that were in the donor class and also undemocratically made the person we elected sit. I mean, if you want the credit, you can have some, but I'm just saying that's why I didn't say it. All right, email time. Let's get to them emails. You know what? Let's go with this old ditty.
You know what we're here for?
Psycho.
Music.
I'm not understanding. Everybody's yelling.
Each one had built Butch bodies. Each one had built Butch bodies. Each one had built Butch bodies. Each one had built Butch bodies.
Oh, what now?
Each one had built Butch bodies. Each one had built Butch bodies.
I'm not understanding. Everybody's yelling.
Each one had built Butch body. Each one had built Butch body. Each one had built Butch body. Don't tell me to calm down. If I come and talk shit about her, y'all gonna have a baby girl.
Oh, really? Don't even play.
I had to play the whole thing. We're in the end game now, guys. Home stretch.
Home stretch.
And then we can see what Marvel's gonna say tonight.
Woo, yes, let's go.
Keisha says, damn, how many ways can I thank you for your House of Dragons or House of Dragons, House of B Dragons or House of Dragons or Dragon House recaps? The nicknames and the audio drops are worth the price of admission. I look forward to the recaps. Honestly, it gets me up fast on Thursday morning to my alarm. Listening to the blackout tips for the last handful of episodes has been very hard. They weren't bad. I agree with you on how the media is covering Trump, Biden, Harris, and the election. I'm just so frustrated. I want to give voters a collective shake and kick Trump supporters off the planet. Thank you for covering and talking in depth about hard truths. I appreciate you and Karen's opinion. Sometimes it helps me to know I'm not alone. Have a great day. I'm going to try to put an extra $5 in the tip jar. P.S. Have y'all seen this story about a black librarian in your county who is making a documentary about the history of blacks in librarianship? It's a 5-minute news story on WBTV. As an old black woman, I immediately thought, I wonder if Rod and Karen know this librarian, because obviously they know everyone in Mecklenburg County. I have not heard about this story. I probably can't play out 5 minutes on the show just because we already been so fucking long. But I'll see if I can look at it, some of it and play some. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get it to open up, guys. All right, so this is the story, and we'll tell you if we know this librarian. We know like one librarian, though.
Has been a sharp rise in book bans. According to the American Library Association, more than 5,000 books and titles were targeted in 2023. That number, a 65% increase from the year before.
Goddamn.
Schools and parents say they're...
WBTV, I see your budget. Y'all got the big screen like TNT, and you walk into a desk in the foreground. I see y'all.
Right.
Okay.
I see you step down some stairs.
Targeting what they call explicit content, while critics say it's just heavy-handed censorship.
We're not saying the library can't buy a book that we don't like it or we think is somehow not appropriate for kids. We're just saying that a parent needs to be involved.
This nigga got a flag with 76 on it. Boy, if you don't
get that,
I know you got a gun lamp.
Is that a lamp with a flag? What is happening in the background?
White people be tacky as fuck.
Right, that don't even look smooth.
At what point, when can we discuss how white people's the patriotic Republican white people's tackiness with these flags?
Ain't it so tacky?
Honestly, I'd rather kneel during the national anthem than have any of this stuff in my house. This shit looks terrible. What are you doing? This don't go with nothing. Nothing matches.
We're just saying that a parent needs to be involved.
We already have policies in place that actually address these very concerns. When you centralize this type of proviso, this type of policy, you are again taking away local parental control from local families, and you're trying to make it a one-size-fits-all for the state of South Carolina, and that's not how any state should operate.
You just heard from South Carolina Senator Josh Kimbrell and Angela Craig, president of the state's Library Association. This was their reaction to a new state mandate that went into effect last week, restricting which books can be on the shelves in public libraries. Titles representing the voices and lived experiences of the LGBTQ community and people of color actually made up 47% of those targeted censorship attempts in 2023.
That shit matters.
Now, here in Charlotte, local librarian Rodney Freeman, he's working on a documentary sharing the untold stories of Black librarians, past and present, who push to keep diverse books accessible to everyone. It's titled, Are You a Librarian? Our Natisha Lance has tonight's cover story.
Are you a librarian? No, I don't know him. All right, there you go. I answer your question.
I don't know this guy.
I'm sorry. I don't know him.
I'm sure
sorry. I'm sure he's a great person.
Right. I know that documentary probably gonna be flames.
Yeah. Like, no offense.
I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
I know we got several librarians out there. Shout out to y'all. Y'all got somebody here down in Mecklenburg County that's fighting the cause.
Allison says, thank you for seeing us. Rod and Karen, I have to start by thanking you for acknowledging right at the beginning of the House of the Dragon recap how hard it is for us to wait until after Wednesday to write in. After last week's little thought experiment of what King Aemon would look like coming to fruition, literally the next day, I found myself also literally sitting on my hands wanting to ask what you thought about seeing him in action. It was hard to respect the rules, but I love the space y'all created for us, and as an adult, I exercise my best self-control. But when you told us that we have been doing a great job at the beginning of the episode, I felt affirmed. Y'all have been, because look,
I know
as you can tell,
excited.
we getting a lot of feedback on a lot of stuff that's very controversial, and House of the Dragons need to be like an escape. So
yes,
I'm glad everyone's following the rules and shit, because the last thing I want is for that show to be a headache. It's just not fun. We've had to do it before with Game of Thrones, where it became a headache because people just were acting out, and it's just like, why?
Yeah, this has been really fun.
This has been a breeze. As for my thoughts on acting King Aemon, so far it's looking exactly like I thought it would. He's making quick, rational, well-informed decisions with no compassion, and I can only assume that the lack of compassion will ultimately be his downfall. But nonetheless, that boy good. I know
Ain't he good though?
I know you agree that Aemon's one of them ones, but now that he's acting in the role of King, how would you evaluate his week 1 performance? I mean, I hate to say it. I give him an A.
Yeah, he came out. I am head and shoulders above the rest.
I give him an A. I mean, I know people don't want to hear it, but like, dog, what did he do wrong, really? You know, like, he want to win the war. He know you got to take Harrenhal. He not risking himself on his dragon unless he absolutely has to.
He was like, get my granddaddy back here. Kind of bullshit is that? Like, man, when he would say, go get Otto, I was like, oh shit, he ain't stupid.
He saw Larys's bullshit coming from a mile away.
Yes, he did.
Got BBL Chrissy out of the table. Got his mama out for there, because what the fuck she doing there?
Right.
Yeah, told the Jason Lannister, get your motherfucking army together and get the marching. Like, I don't know, no notes. Cut the rat catchers down. I mean, shit. I mean, the only thing he really fucking up with is not trying to quell the revolution that's happening, but honestly, he don't got the resources to really do that shit.
No, he don't.
What, he gonna not fill Vhagar them goats so the people in the streets can eat? He not gonna do that.
No, he not.
And of course, he can't handle that they lying. They lying saying there's banquets and whores every night, and there's not.
Right.
So, but yeah, he ultimately, so I'll say a B+, because ultimately we know his downfall is probably something dealing with the fact that he don't have compassion for the people, and unless he get Otto there to like really balance out like the small folk politics, then then he's not gonna ever be like the ruler that he could be.
Right, agreed.
I was also very impressed by Jace, and I'm excited to see Team Black figure that shit out, because Vhagar is Vhagar, but unless Helena is about to mount up for the first time ever in the show, the Greens are one dragon operation now. So there should be lots of space to get control of the board now. That's a good point. Thanks, BBL Chrissy, for your part in diminishing the Greens in the eyes of the small folk. Damon is handling that for the Blacks, but I digress. Very excited to see Jay step up and be the man that badass Baylor deserves. I also cannot help but think that if Damon and Rhaenys had actually double teamed Vhagar like Damon recommended a few episodes ago, this could all be over. He did say.
Yeah, he was like, let's go now. She was like, I just got back.
But that's the beauty of the show, and why I, like you two, still love the final season of Game of Thrones. I can appreciate the good TV and the good life choices are incompatible. Yeah, we could have ended the war with Meleys and Caraxes collectively taking Vhagar out, but what would I do on Sunday nights if everybody made good choice all the damn time?
Ain't that the truth?
Right. Could you imagine if the motherfucking, like, they did that shit in like episode 3 and then that was it for the dragons for the rest of the season? It's like, now it's just people talking in castles. Like, I'm gonna need some dragons like once every 3 episodes.
Come on, don't be up here like Star Wars. Nobody give a fuck about these goddamn Senate meetings.
I'm loving the messiness of the decision making, because that's what good TV is made of, and they're doing an amazing job presenting that to us, and I greatly appreciate y'all's appreciation of that. Thank you. William Wright saying, a few weeks ago, you talked about your weight loss struggles. Just remember why you started this journey. For 40 years, you led life a certain way. You ate what you wanted, exercised how you wanted, and led your life that certain way. You were like an aircraft carrier. You go in one direction, you have inertia and momentum. Now you want to change direction, change your lifestyle. That takes a lot of grit, determination, exercise, weight loss, diet, and mental health. The hardest part is the fight, is to stay on the path and not listen to those voices of temptation. Continue your journey is worth it because you are worth it. All right. Thank you.
I thought this came out the blue.
All right. I don't think I wrote about struggling with anything, but I appreciate you. I know that came from a good place.
A place of motivation.
I choose to accept it as from a good place. Oh, man. Don writes in, hello, Rod and Karen. I need to let y'all know how much I appreciate you both. You are the voice of sanity during a wild time. I told the kids today that the blackout tips was on Mama is at church. I'm listening to Rod and Karen preach. Thank you for the podcast on Sunday. When I heard Biden step down, I cried. Not because I'm like Drake in my feelings, but like Karen, I was upset that these major donors pushed him out.
Right.
Yeah, the fact that people don't want to talk about that is interesting because to me, I'm like, okay, this time you agree with them making Biden step down. For those of y'all who are happy about it, right? Like who were like, yes, he stepped down finally. What would you do if it was somebody that you didn't want to step down? Because like for some of us, it was like, I don't know, what's the plan? What are y'all doing?
Right.
Like like I said, I wasn't in denial. I watched the debate. I understood the urgency of like feeling like something got to be done. But being it was so late in the process, there wasn't a democratic way to do it necessarily.
Agreed.
And there is a universe where he's still not stepped down. And they're still doing article after article trying to force him to step down.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no plan of who would do what afterwards. And we're just stuck there. And I really love that he was smart enough and gracious enough to go, it ain't about me. I'm not just going, this isn't a power grab for me. If it's fucking the party up, that's the opposite of what I want. I'm hopping down. Donald Trump would have never. He would have never. He'd be like, then the party goes down. Fuck it. Y'all with me or quit.
Right. He told y'all to suck his dick. I'm still running.
So I mean, there is something that happened here that years from now, maybe months from now, depending on how the election turns out, we should take a look at it and be like, do we need another process? Does there need to be something else? Because this was dangerously close to just, hey, we just ain't feeling him. He gone, and not because the voters said.
Right.
So like I said, what happens if they just decide we don't like Kamala Harris 4 years from now, and she's got the same statistics and track record as Joe Biden, where people ultimately feel like her administration is good and they like that administration to continue, but not with her as the face. But this time they don't have slippage or something like that. Would we go back to this moment and go, we should have stopped it then? That you can just come in and be like, well, I'm Disney and I'm not giving no more money. Find a new candidate. I don't know. It's worth thinking about.
Yeah, and and that's the problem. Because the thing is, people voted for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And you can't skip over that. You can't erase that. And you can't act like people that voted for him, motherfucking feelings don't matter. You can't act like you basically stripped their candidate out of their hands and be like, deal with it, bitch. Well, then I have the right to be upset.
Yeah, he didn't step down. Like, he stepped down because he's a good person, but it wasn't totally of his own volition.
Right.
I feel like if this is a thing where he has a bad debate, we go through our first media cycle of like, this is a bad debate, he should step down. And he says, I'm not stepping down. And then we go through weeks of just him campaigning again. And then out of the blue, he says, actually, I am going to step down. I feel like people wouldn't be mad like they're mad right now.
Agreed.
Like, they would be like, he didn't think he could do it. He stepped down.
Because it would have been his, that's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
If it would have been his choice and his decision, the fucking media had not fucking hounded him for over a month, I'd have been like, okay, cool, Joe. Okay, you feel like you ain't got it. You want to transfer power. Cool. Guess what? You wouldn't have had no smoke from me. But for the fact that y'all ragged this man and he basically said, I'm running, and y'all was like, we're not taking we're not accepting that, particularly the media, we're not accepting that as an answer. Right. That's where my smoke come in, because like I said, and that's the thing, and it's nothing against VP Harris. I voted for him. And so, of course, it's gonna make me mad. It's gonna make me angry. It's gonna cause that group of people to panic because it was like, what the fuck plan do you have other than he got to go?
Yeah, I agree. But she goes back to this. I commend Biden for all the work he did to get us out of the worst mess I've ever witnessed in my 47 years. POTUS isn't an easy position. Look at how Obama aged over them 8 years. It's not a job I would want to do. I'm very relieved Madam VP Harris accepted the offer to step in. I look forward to supporting her. I will vote blue all the way down. This isn't about me. It's about our most vulnerable. Let's go vote. Also adding my money where my mouth is, putting $5 in the blackout test collection plate. Please keep it. P.S. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not keeping it. I'm spending it on something. P.S. My family would love to see you and Karen out to dinner sometime. Get back to me and we can set something up. Oh, I guess I'll save this email. Brian says, Rod and Karen, God bless you for your immediate podcast for Joe Biden dropping out. You provided me with much needed comfort and clarity. I've replenished my hope. Kamala is really the only choice and it is a wonderful choice. You set up the prosecutor against the felon is such a great your setup of the prosecutor against the felon is such a great contrast that we can get it to stick. But the fucking media who want to play both sides won't allow it. Well, let me tell you something. It ain't really about them. Our only person got to make a stick is Kamala Harris in that campaign. And when I tell you, I've been smiling all week because the promos, the stuff she's doing, the stuff the campaign is doing is all sticking it to that. Like, hey, this dude is a fucking criminal and a fraud. And I just needed somebody to say it. You know what I mean?
She making them people earn that money.
I respect Joe Biden. I respect why we picked him. But understand something. Joe not really the type to do that. He's a statesman. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. We needed a statesman after Trump especially.
Yes.
That's what balance is to the office. But like, I have always been with the shits. So seeing Kamala get on there in her first speech is like, yeah, I've dealt with predators and this before, and like, you know, like I know his type. Oh yes, I'm very excited. I'm glad it's her. You know,
me too. And you bring up a good point. Yes, the Democratic Party does need to get together and be like, this bullshit y'all pull, we can't let this happen again. Like them big donors. Like there needs to be some rules and regulations because I'm telling you, if you go through the process and then y'all bring this shit up with Vice President Harris, it's gonna be smoke in the street because niggas gonna be like, you're not gonna put her out like y'all did Joe.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. That's all I'm saying is. Maybe now's not the time. It's too soon to the election, but at some point there should be some sort of like discussion or look at how this process works where a media narrative and a like elite donor class can be like, he gotta go. Because it seems easy to say now, like, because everybody's excited about Kamala, but if they lose, everyone's gonna want to talk about this shit again. And if they win, people gonna act like we shouldn't talk about it. And I'm like, nah, it's worth discussing just because what do you do next time if this ever happens again?
Right.
You know, because it don't have to be this. It could just be some unpopular stance or some unfortunate event that happens on the president's watch.
Right.
And just what if the media decides we're not letting it go and we're just willing to keep on you for months and months and months? Do you have a wherewithal to stand that? Anyway, I think Pete Buttigieg would be a terrific running mate. JD Vance believes that people without children do not deserve their votes to be counted as highly as those with children, which is obviously intended to diminish gay people. Pete would be a stark contrast to Vance. Yeah, Pete, they adopted I think 2 kids. So it's double interesting because JD Vance brought up, I think he may have even brought up Pete Buttigieg as an example of Democrats and their childless politicians can't craft the laws for America, for this country where people, and it's like Pete Buttigieg has kids.
And what do you do if you're a married couple and you don't have kids? So you don't matter.
I know, but that's my point is he didn't even get it right.
Right,
obviously that point to me that you're about to make is obvious, right? We all know it's wrong, but you're not even accurate in your wrongness.
If you're gonna wrong, be
do the research.
Be right in your wrongness.
He has kids, so technically you should be like, well, he can make laws, right? It's nothing. You just don't want to say what it's really about.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for all you doing. I'm sorry for the emergency podcast that interrupted Karen's sleep, but I'm thankful for her sacrifice.
No problem.
Alicia says, hello, fellow blacks. From listening to episode 2935, Candy Fried Chicken. I said to myself, go ahead and start your feedback now. You don't want to be like last time with months of stuff to condense. So here I am. Smash cut to present day. I'm currently listening to episode 2945. I did not send this email off in time. In fact, I did end up just like the last time. Anyway, back to past me, who was optimistic and full of hope. Right. The way you talked about your experience with the magician made me laugh out loud. Why are we like this? The way I would have pointed out an accusatory finger and called him a witch that practices the fancies of the devil. Child. Then when you said that he was using devil magic, I laughed again. I see why street magicians love performing for black people. We are truly the best audience.
Ain't we the best audience? Because I had a motherfucking ball.
Karen saying she would try the candy fried chicken also tickled your girl. We all know Karen is down to try new foods. Hell, she has a whole show about food. But for some reason, I immediately thought about that time Karen said she loves edamame. I can see her trying the chicken, secretly hating the chicken, but then months later say she loved the candy fried chicken. Right. you see me. Who sent this? Alicia, you get it. My husband and I...
Don't be giving all my internal secrets, my internal thought process.
My husband and I blasted through them as soon as we could. I'm really enjoying the series, maybe because I'm from the deep South. I grew up talking to my grandparents and great-grandmother who lived through the times like the ones portrayed in season 1. I could appreciate a reimagining where black people come out on top and weren't victimized and brutalized like in real life. I get how people can say it's too much, but I mean, aside from the supernatural stuff, our people live through stuff like this and they could turn the channel and tap out. Just like Lovecraft Country and Supercell. I love seeing a telling where the trials of black people are reconceptualized into, in my opinion, satisfying art. Yeah, and like horror is such a perfect allegory for blackness in America. That's why Lovecraft Country hits for me, and them hits for me.
I enjoy Lovecraft Country.
And like I said, there are people who hear this, they get insecure, and they hear like a judgment of them from us, the people who enjoy this, like we're telling them they're bad black people, or they got to enjoy it too, or whatever. It's not that for me. I just think it's really good. It hits. It makes sense. It's smart. It's accurate. It's layered. At least season 1 was to me. And so, I'm with you totally.
Yeah, and like you say, and what's so wild? All you gotta do is put American Horror Stories or smack Bloomhouse on it or some shit like that, and people wouldn't have a fucking problem watching it.
If it starred white people, people wouldn't even call it trauma.
Right.
They just be like, it's a good scary movie or it's good horror.
Agreed.
Once you say it's anything with black people, it's like, oh, what did this mean for real? Side note, with the Them series, I think they are doing some cool through line with the two families, like in the Fargo series. I can't wait to see how it all goes together. Anyway, thanks y'all for continuing to be yourselves. The other Alicia that used to write into the show. Thank you, Alicia. Our girl Miss Christabel says, hey, Rodrin, so happy I saw y'all earlier in the month. Had so much fun on my trip, and of course, hanging out with y'all added a lot to it. Y'all added to the I-85 down south trip rotation permanently. I, like Karen and lots of other black women, were mad on Sunday after the announcement. Obviously, my anger wasn't towards Kamala. She was my number 2 pick behind Elizabeth Warren.
Right.
It was towards the gaslighting and bullying that was done to President Papa after the debate. Also anxious about the 53% and the whole United Colors of Benetton collection of misogynists. But then my husband was talking to my mother-in-law who despite being in CT for close to 45 years, sounds like the entire state of Sass Carolina, and I loved it. She asked to talk to me, in the Joy Fest we had over Kamala was legendary. It reminded me that my dad was excited about Kamala and my mom would be excited about her. So my mother-in-law helped me see the joy and effervescent hope in our elders and ancestors and helped me step into my Kamala Joy era. So y'all and the OGs are good reminders to keep keeping the faith and being forceful against the naysayers. Today at school, where I'm in class, class is 80% Latin America, one white girl from Ukraine and one black girl. The Pakistani teacher was reading about how a Japanese girl took pride in wearing her kimono despite being teased at school. We started talking about pride in your ethnicity. The teacher said she was proud to be Pakistani American. She pointed out that many kids should be proud of their Latin heritage and Ukrainian girl for her heritage. Obviously, I said I was a proud black woman, American black woman to be specific. Then I asked the very quiet little black girl if she was proud to be black. She was quiet, so of course we hyped her up to be proud of her blackness. At the school, she came up to me to handle some kid drama, but before I rectified the situation, I told her, listen, Nene, you should be proud to be a black woman. Do you know one reason why? Because we might be getting a black woman president. Did you know that, Nene? She said no in a cute, sheepish voice, and I told her it was true. She would probably be getting the black lady as president to be proud, and she smiled. Then I handled the business of her blocks being knocked down, and for that moment, I was right in the world.
Aww.
I almost messed up my thug. That was a whole TV moment for real. Don't get it twisted. The mush hand will be ready for 53% ashes at all trust. But yeah, I'm happy and excited now. Well, I think the only thing you messed up there, did you put this on TikTok? Because my understanding is if a child has an interaction with like a teacher or instructor,
don't you do that, baby?
The first thing you're supposed to do is put it on TikTok and be like, thoughts? Because I understand that's what y'all do.
You did the right thing. No recordings.
Last thing, if Meghan Markle and Twyla Black Amber Rose is black using the old school imitation of life rules, or if her mama pop out and show up, she getting outed as black. Her mama from Cape Verde, which identifies as West African island nation, her mama looked like a black lady with a loose curl pattern, and Amber looks like she could be one of my aunts and grands. I just found out about Cape Verdeans a few years ago. One of my coworkers was from there, and I found out that they have a whole popping community locally. They identify as African and black, and they look like various skin shades of blackness. I thought my homegirl was like a Dominican or Brazilian because of her loose hair texture and fluency in Spanish and Portuguese. Cape Verde was colonized by Portugal, but she, like most of her people around her, identifies black, and on top of that, roll their eyes at folks who try to separate from American blacks. Yeah, hey, look. A lot of this stuff for me, it's like not my table situation. I don't feel confident in saying Cape Verdeans are or aren't all like black or African or whatever. Too many people who have way too much bass in their voice when they talk about shit that they ain't experienced.
Yes, they do.
When I say Amber Rose isn't black, a lot of that is because she say that shit.
She said it right.
And so if it's ambiguous and you get asked a direct question and you like, I'm not black. No, I'm not. What the fuck I'm gonna do? Nah, nigga, you black. Nah, you okay. You clearly feel the need to make a distinction. Fine. And same thing for Tyler or whatever the fuck. Twyla. I don't have any ill will towards the girl, but clearly this race shit is kicking her ass. Like, she not from here, African American black.
Right.
Her people promote her all over the world. I'm sure there's some beneficial African American like connection that they would like to be made to her music and the scene or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, she ain't ready for them questions when she go before Charlemagne, who was a dick and did ask her questions he wasn't supposed to. But she's clearly not ready for that shit, and she don't know, and I don't know if she just hadn't thought about it, or she doesn't like what answer she would give, or whatever, which is a privilege of its own to not have to think about it, to put in your rider, don't ask me. When I look at her, it's not like I thought she wasn't black. You know, I don't know what to say about that. Like, I'm from America. The way I judge race is American.
Yes,
American. It's very much like you black. Like you black with an accent.
Right. That's all.
You black with kimono beads. Like, it's everything black to me because I'm from here and we didn't allow enough what is it? Like nuance in it because it was survival.
Right.
So we just didn't have the luxury of being like, no, my black is different. And this, I'm sure it's because I'm from the South. I'm sure it is.
Yeah, because other parts they have subsection. No, it's like you either black, white, or quote unquote other.
The difference between me and a lot of people who talk about this shit is that I have the humility to be like, this is just my experience.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to share the experience of other people. I can respect it to a point. And mostly I understand it's not really going to change anything if Tyler understands the shit or not. Right. If Amber Rose says, I am black, it won't change a fucking thing for me. But yeah, it goes on her resume of questionable shit, especially when she's over there kicking it with MAGA. Because I'm like, oh, now you want to be black. And so I'm bringing it up not to disrespect Cape Verdeans, but to say Amber Rose is a person that denied her blackness when she was on a BET doing a reality show, and she being around the hip hop culture, she wasn't black. She wanted to be foreign. She wanted to be exotic, whatever it was. But the second she sells out the MAGA for a check and some crypto, now she's like selling blackness over there. Hip hop artist, black woman, Amber Rose. And we will not have it. Oh,
we will not have it.
Although we are not in the 1950s, I feel like there's more Rachel Dolezal passing and outings than the former. So if Amber don't want to identify as black, more power to her, I guess. All of this is not important outside of unsuccessfully trying to muster sympathy for Candace Owens for being replaced. But yeah, I learned a bit about Cape Verde a few years ago and saw a picture of Amber mama and wanted to pass some info. Sorry for the long email. Gotta collect my thoughts and make them make sense for y'all instead of sending out random nonsensical blurts. Hugs and kisses, Miss Criswell.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had fun hanging out with you and your family too. Mm-hmm. Steven says, good morning. I've been thinking about Joe Biden's chance to step aside and endorse VP Harris, and now don't think it was a last resort move. Think it was playing well in advance. I think Biden-Harris ticket was waiting to see who Trump picked for VP and get a gauge of the public response to the RNC before dropping the announcement. Plus, the immediate turnaround for the campaign, social media accounts, and funding operations were carried out in a way to suggest there was a definitive time of expiration. Lastly, I remember President Biden saying he would drop out if there were a medical reason. Then he randomly comes down with COVID. Clearly, it's purely speculative, but I like to try connecting the dots. Thanks for the great show, Steve.
Yeah, my biggest thing, and I guess my greatest pushback against that is that when they asked, he said no. Mm-hmm. And he said no multiple times. Mm-hmm. So that right there, and he meant that shit too. So that right there let me know this was not something, like they may have talked or discussed about transitioning at some period of time. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they didn't, but the way that this panned out, no.
And I have to be fair because, you know, I told the same thing to Evs when she was speculating that they had been hiding his like reduced mental state for months and all this cover up type stuff. And I was like, that's a conspiracy. Unless we have some proof, I don't want to just go down the conspiracy. Now it's her suspicion. She's allowed to have it. I'm not saying, right, but you're presenting it to us as like, hey, you know, I felt like this. And I'm just telling you, I need more proof than just a feeling, right?
Agreed.
For myself. And I feel similarly to this, where I would need more proof than just like vibes on this. And I know you say you're speculating, you're totally allowed to do so.
Right.
The thing I will say is that we know for sure is there's a gray area where I think he had decided before Sunday that he was stepping down and endorsing Kamala, but not necessarily in any grand, not like, oh, the RNC is over, I'm gonna do it. Right. Or not like, oh, going into the RNC, let's see how that works. Or, oh, they tried to assassinate Trump. Okay, let me see what I'm gonna do. I really think the wheels were in motion because of how quickly shit happened once he announced. It was, I'm resigning. 10 minutes later, I'm endorsing Kamala Harris. 10 minutes later, if you want to donate to, not even 10 minutes, like a minute later. Right. If you want to donate, everything is now in her name. The campaign shit is all made up. Because it wouldn't have been fair to her to even do that, to be like, I'm dropping out. Good luck. It's you. So I know some shit had to happen to be coordinated so that she wouldn't hit the ground and fall on her face.
I agree.
She need to hit the ground to be able to campaign.
Yeah, that part I agree was organized. But, you know, it like overall.
That's why I say it's a gray area. I agree with you. I'm only saying it's a gray area in that clearly there's some organizing. Because
yes.
It would have looked like a shit show if there was none.
Agreed.
But I don't think it was like a grand conspiracy. The doctor, LaShonda Wright, said, hey, friends. Thank you for your coverage of the current political landscape. I was sad when Joe announced he was stepping down. I know folks on social media are trying to say this was all to plan, but unless Joe himself confirms it, I do not believe that. The optics are an aging politician who was showing signs of his age physically, but seemed otherwise okay, was bullied out of his position despite the decades of public service he provided. He was so gracious about it. The folks who are celebrating it forget that if they are lucky, they will also one day be in his age range with his challenges and won't want to be discarded because it's convenient and solicits social media attention.
That's exactly how I feel.
That said, I'm here for a Kamala candidacy and presidency. Look, that duo helped me reach student loan forgiveness quicker than I would have. I had another 3 years under the old PSLF guidelines. They will always have my support. House of the Dragon, I am starting to feel like, and this probably old in me, saying it's old in the saying for me, that the men who pledged themselves to Rhaenyra did so because of Daemon, thinking he would be truly ruling but also because they saw her as a puppet. Old boy had that slap long coming.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and what's interesting is they kind of really only fell in line because Corliss came in.
Yes.
They still wanted a man at that table that before they were going to respect her. I love that Mysaria is doing her thing on behalf of Rhaenyra and showing that men are not the only ones who could wage an effective war. That sometimes war isn't about clanging of steel, but also loyalty one can elicit. Loyalty out of fear is fleeting. Kristen is turning folks to loyalty out of fear of death. Rhaenyra is engendering loyalty by looking out for those who have been forgotten.
You know, and something that you brought up is Mysaria, because even Otto understood that because he was getting information from her.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where Otto was smart enough to understand that Mysaria had a purpose, and that's what kept his ear to the ground. That's how he knew what was going on in the streets and what people were thinking, kind of back and forth through her. And so basically that's one piece that they no longer have, because Otto was no longer there to actually reach out and actually hear about what's actually going on and how the streets are feeling.
Yeah, it's so interesting too, because Daemon and Mysaria were together for a while, and Daemon does underhanded off the book shit, but it's always like killed this person, kidnapped someone's wife. She just started basically the shade room.
Yes, she did.
The real question is, next week, now that Grover Tully is dead, the grandson will probably have words for Daemon, given that their first interaction was Daemon telling him to murder his grandfather. Add to that the atrocities committed in his name amongst the Tully betterment. Woo, child, Daemon has a lot of cleanup to do. You guys stay safe. Love y'all. Yeah, hanging over all that interaction is the prophecy Alice said where he gonna die in Harrenhal. So it's like, hope that works out for you, boy.
I hope so too.
2 episodes to go.
Right, you might should just pack your shit up and leave, but hey, that's just me though.
Brian says, Black Dragon, dear Rod and Karen, thank you for your Lil service to your listeners. I've read the Game of Thrones books, but none of the GRM crash grabs he did with the books that were simpler for him to write than to finish in the main series. I do, however, hear about some of the details from these books, but promise that nothing I'm writing is from any of that. You refer to the dragon handlers as innocent. You really think that? I would guess that when the dragons hatch, they get beaten with those long sticks to get them into submission so they get what they deserve. I don't know.
Because they haven't showed that.
They've never shown that.
Right.
And honestly, those sticks don't look like dragon beating sticks. They don't look like
they do not look like dragon beating
We
sticks.
seen baby dragons burn motherfuckers to the crisp in Game of Thrones. And there was little dragons that never got to the size of these motherfuckers they got now. So I don't know if they abusing the dragons or not. I wouldn't put it past Game of Thrones. I just haven't seen the evidence that the dragon handlers are the ones doing it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Dragon Rights Association isn't writing letters right now.
DETA?
Yes.
I mean, wait, no, it would be people for the ethical treatment of it'd be PET. The PETD. They would not be cool with it. I love your term for the Black Meister, Lord DEI. He is one asset that the Greens have that the Blacks do not seem to have.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. You mentioned that Rhaenyra babes. I've seen Allison take multiple baths on the show. Do not recall a single time that Rhaenyra has done that, so she may well be stinking. Her hookup with the lady spy rings true to me, given her isolation and scene was tastefully done. I can't rack my brain to know specifically if there's it feels weird to say there's never been a bath scene with Rhaenyra. I feel like that that has to have happened at some point, especially when she was still in King's Landing. But I don't know. It just, the assumption is when I see a woman who washes her fucking combs her hair for her every night, I believe she's getting some baths. I think you, for some reason, you want her to be,
maybe not every
stinking.
night, but yeah, there's gonna be some bathing.
I don't know what you into, Brian, but you want it to smell a certain way, and I think you wrote in to you don't want to just come out and own that, but you need to own that. You think Amon is sending Cole to a death match to Harrenhal in the early season of Game of Thrones? Tywin tells Arya that 1,000,000 men could attack Harrenhal and 1,000,000 men would be repelled. Maybe it's gonna be interesting to see how that battle takes place. If they're gonna be held up in Harrenhal or what,
right?
And I guess these stories would be the stories that inform Tywin later. So maybe that's what we're about to watch.
Yes, we are. Dragons
seem to be equal opportunity. Yes, Sea Smoke went with the black guy, but Amon's dragon was previously with Corlys's daughter. I don't think dragons belong to anyone, so I don't use that term. Have a wonderful week, Brian K. Well, how elevated and magnificent of you. I think they do partner with people, and I think they do belong to people in the way that people belong to each other. Meaning that it's a consensual belonging. Not a ownership like that car belongs to me, which is probably how you interpreted me saying that. But I don't mean it that way. I mean, a dragon is a sentient being that chooses its rider, and the rider must choose that dragon. And I feel like that we've seen that, and the heartbreak that Vhagar had when it had to kill Laena.
Oh, it was hurt.
Yeah, that trauma. I mean, I could imagine.
It hesitated, like, you want me to do what?
I can imagine the trauma that Vhagar went through would put it in a state where maybe it blindly had a rebound relationship with this kid, Amon, who it took pity on. So I don't know that.
Yeah,
I don't know that it was in the best state of mind.
Yeah.
Jennifer says, "Hey, it's Lil P from KTG forums. I'm so happy you are doing this recap because it's been one of the highlights of my week during the madness that has been life lately." Woohoo! I do have to say, woohoo for the highlight, not the madness.
Oh yes,
I do have to,
not the madness.
I do have to say I felt bad for Adam in the trailer when Rhaenyra was yelling at him about being on Sea Smoke. Like Sea Smoke didn't ask Adam if he wanted to bond. Shit, it wasn't really an ask.
It was a demand.
I think the answer is yes.
Yes.
Sea Smoke come in my face like that. Whatever you want, Sea Smoke.
Right.
He Pepe Le Pew'd his ass and basically said, "You are mine now." Exactly. Oh, the TikToks and memes after helped me through the anxiety of Biden dropping out the race. I don't blame Karen for being pissed off. The Democratic Party has been fucking around for too long. I'm relieved that they finally seem to have their shit together and all behind Kamala, unlike the debacles of 2016 and 2020.
Agreed.
Getting on track per my usual. Thanks for your hard work, Rod, and your research and note taking for the show. All the best, Jennifer. Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you, baby.
And yeah, I feel you on that. That scene is gonna be real funny when Rhaenyra and Adam be on that beach with their dragons.
Right, because he gonna be like, I don't know what happened. Like, she gonna be like, how'd you get this dragon? I was just walking in the wood and this motherfucker stalked me. I did not have a choice.
And Rhaenyra's not a know how to talk to people type of person.
Right.
She be talking to people rough sometimes. So it's gonna be real interesting. Because at the end of the day, they both kind of want the same thing, I think. Right. Adam's always wanted to be recognized, be elevated. That's what he's been telling his brother the whole time. Like, why won't you step up and be why don't you want your legacy? And I think Adam's gonna step right into I want the legacy.
All right, good.
But Rhaenyra wants more dragon riders, so I think they both have incentive to work together.
I think they do, and she gonna be like, "What set you claim?" He gonna be like, "Set? What are you talking about?" Right. Then he basically gonna tell. I think that he's gonna tell her about his daddy and all that stuff. Yeah. So eventually it's gonna come out.
We'll find out tomorrow night.
We will.
Celeste says, "Hi, Rod and Karen. You probably will have so much feedback this week with similar sentiments about Monday's show. I will try not to be too long. However, let the record show I was a Kamala Harris supporter back in 2020 primary, donating and signing up to volunteer. I've enthusiastically watched what she has done since she's been in administration, not just in the media, which left a lot out, but directly from her office, signing up for Zoom events, press releases, etc. She just had about a month or two ago a meeting in a forum that was on Zoom with long-term caregivers to focus on the needs of the industry, how important and critical the work was, and address pay disparities and the need for strengthening of the whole care systems of our elders. I follow her partnership with Representative Lauren Underwood and other key legislators and advocates on the Momnibus bill that was put into place laws and resources to address disparities in maternal health care and outcomes that not only disproportionately affect Black women, but all women in this country compared to other countries. She has been great and in many ways more progressive and direct about the issues to President Biden and more focused on the work than people like Bernie who talk crap but don't put any legislation to partner with anyone. Yep.
You know, I agree. And one thing I can say that I appreciate her for, and something that Joe Biden could never do. Joe Biden is an old white man. So when she gives speeches, she can be more harder on women's rights.
Yeah.
She could, because she's coming from personal experience. And
he's a Catholic.
Okay, right.
So he's always, he may have his own religious misgivings about some of these things, but he knows the job is not his personal politics. It's the politics of and the laws of the land.
Correct. And so I appreciate her with being more direct, because when you're more direct like that, because I think for a lot of people, it meant something to hear just straightforward, that straightforwardness versus the kind of coaxing around and mentioning of. It's like, no, this is what I'm saying. This is what I mean. And I think that matters. That matters for the youth. And it's going to matter for all the 53% the white women out there. Hey, y'all, if you want your rights, hey, we ain't gonna float around it. We gonna let you know this is what's up. What's up for grabs.
Also, she's the VP, and that's what VPs do. They can be more forceful than the president.
Agreed.
That's the job. That's Biden for Obama. He said shit that Obama couldn't say because it was like, well, the VP can say it, and we'll test to see how people feel. I'm a bit concerned, even with my excitement for the moment, and would love both of your thoughts on the disinformation and shenanigans to come. How the forces that publicly and privately pushed Joe Biden out the race and were going to and still may try it, skip over and or undermine VP Harris as a presumptive nominee. Even though that has not worked to date, those are not above sabotage. I know she is up to the task, but there are so many layers of people with power and money, and those whose racism and sexism and greed is so strong, they are willing to support 45 and Vance as their nominee rather than anyone else. And some on the left that are nihilistic, dogmatic, and willing to amplify disinformation around certain issues that they feel politicians don't make the right statements or actions according to them right then. See police reform, war in Israel, Palestine, the border, etc. I'm worried that there are players behind the scenes that will work to undermine and turn positive momentum around before the election. Anyways, take good care. I don't really have any deep thoughts to add. I feel like we've addressed that specific thing many times on this show, and we'll continue to the whole time until the election, and we'll all be on the lookout for it. But the vibe feels different for me because I just see people fighting back.
Yes,
and I see
which
people
they didn't do as much before.
I see people charged up to defend her record, and that is important. That's something that was missing. It's something the internet kind of robbed people of, and because people didn't see this coming, the bots and stuff they weren't really ready. They're still pulling out shit from the old campaigns. And it's like,
because that's all they got.
We already debunked those. Everybody's ready for that. So we'll see if something new happens.
Right.
John writes in, good morning, Rod and Karen. Thanks so much for the optimism about Harris. I'm loving it all too, and I think she got a great shot to win and stop Trump.
Me too.
She was my first pick in 2020, and I was always bummed that her campaign never got the same momentum as Bernie, Warren, and Buttigieg. That said, I'll be forever mad at the assholes who push Biden out. The whole thing felt like white people trying to remind black people who's in charge of the Dem party.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely race war elements, and no one's going to talk about it now. Fortunately, Dem delegates who are highly representative of the Dem base got in formation fast and kept things from becoming a mess. But I'm still going to remember all those fuckers that backstabbed Biden like Arya Stark. But I'm really psyched to see all the great energy and means and enthusiasm for Harris. I think a lot of us haven't really had a moment to exhale and feel any real hope since 2016. Dog, honestly, I think you can take it back to 2008. I know it's no one wants to make the direct comparison of Obama to Harris. I'm not talking about their politics or even them as politicians. I'm talking about the enthusiasm online, where it feels like it's okay to be hopeful and optimistic. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to share a meme that you laugh at. And underlying all of that is not, me. I personally don't believe in or feel like you have, like, I feel like that shit is cotton candy, and people probably should not get so caught up in that. But I'm not stupid. The emotional tenor that is setting is what makes it freeing for people to say, I want this.
Yes.
Like, not just I don't want Trump, but to say I want her. I want this feeling. Yeah, call her brat, which is like this like Gen Z term on the spreading on TikTok and stuff, and it means like it's like an acronym for something, but basically they're just saying like she's cool, she's like, look how cool she is, and they're taking shit that to me is not that cool, but they're like forcing it into memes and shit to be like, look how cool she is, and I'm like, sure,
whatever it takes.
You know what? That's better than 97 videos about Biden and Palestine or him stuttering.
Yes.
So yeah, this is a better vibe for the party, and hopefully you keep that energy for 3 months. Let's see. But I'm really not. I think a lot of us have. Okay, between Trump winning, then COVID, George Floyd, a nail-biter win for Biden, another close call for GA Senate seats, January 6th, etc. I know I haven't really been allowing myself to really lean into hope or joy since 2016. It feels like Kamala's sudden rise has reminded us that it's okay and actually necessary to dream, hope, live, etc., and it's long overdue. All that said, y'all should really consider making 2024 the year of hate t-shirts. Great House of Dragons recap again, man. I think Rhaenyra had student loan forgiveness, expanded the court, and maybe even reparations in them boats. And I totally agree about Corliss and Adam. How long until we get a scene of Corliss standing outside cheering Adam first day of school? Right.
All proud and shit.
Right.
Doing the shit that his wife told him before she died.
I was talking to Randolph about that, and I think he might be partial to Corliss, older black man, identifying older black man character. But I'm thoroughly into like, man, Corliss ain't slick. I see his bullshit coming from a mile away. He a clout chaser. Like, he a cool
That's why
character.
He wanted his wife to be queen and all that stuff, right?
He a cool character. None of these characters are above reproach. Corliss got some positives to him, and I fuck with him. But at the end of the day, clout chaser gonna chase clout. And now one of his boys on a dragon. He about to.
He gonna be smiling from ear to ear.
He about to sign the motherfucking name change form tonight.
He gonna be insufferable.
Last one is Kiara, who says, hello, I don't have any pointed feedback this week. Just want to say I've been listening to you all for 6 years, and you helped me through deployments, work assignments, jobs, and self-employment. I love you both, and I'm so glad to be a supporter. Lastly, I see you ride with your IG thirst traps in the gym.
That's hilarious.
Thank you. I hope you continue to see progress. And Karen, you're the rich white woman of color auntie I hope to be one day. Have a good day. Talk to you soon. Very respectfully, Kiara. Thank you,
That's
Kiara.
Hilarious. Thank you, baby.
Appreciate you. Yeah, and I wouldn't call them traps really, but I'm trying to. My trainer was like, you got to take progress pics and document your journey, and part of it is so you can see the progress and continue to stay motivated and stuff like that.
Right.
And so I guess my own I was like, no, I'm gonna do it.
That's outside of your nature.
And honestly, I've listened to all the other advice she's given me. She's been right on all that stuff, and so I'm like, why not? And I got that full length mirror. I got the sometimes I'll take a picture in the gym working out or something, and I can see changes in my body and stuff. Like some of it already. I still obviously have more stuff I want to do, but. It's good to be like, it is working, right? And that, and then the in-body test and some of the nutrition measurements and stuff. It's just stuff that helps me be like, because like the scale is not always moving. So like, that's why I didn't want to get into this and just be like, what's the scale say? What the scale say? That's going to determine my feelings for the day.
Right.
I just needed other stuff. And sometimes it's just like the way a shirt fits, or throwing away a big ass shirt that that you had a long time is like, I don't think I'm ever wearing this again, or whatever. Or looking in the mirror at the gym and being like, okay, I can see myself working. I can see some things happening. So I appreciate you. And look, it's only a thirst trap if you're thirsty. So don't. That's how that works. All right, y'all. We'll
Other
see
people sipping on the water too.
Yeah. Only thirst trap is on somebody like it. You know,
somebody like it.
All right, y'all. We'll talk to you throughout the week. Until next time. I love you.
I love you too. Mwah.
Oh my God.